Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. BlueDragonFive here with another helping of Disney debates. Tonight's specials are, what Disney film are you most thankful for? Which pair of Star Wars characters would make the best buddy movie? And which composer should do a Pixar film next? And a cornucopia of speed-round questions and surprises in store. Alright, folks, grab your plates and pass the yams. It's main event time. In this corner, a champion of truth, justice, and pumpkin pie. Give it up to Tiki!
Dragon, there's two things wrong with your statement there. All right. A, I'm allergic to pumpkin pie. And B, I fucking hate yams. Like, I cannot stand yams.
I just asked you to pass the yams.
Yams are the worst.
No one's telling you to eat the yams. Just pass them.
All right. But I appreciate the effort, Dragon. But I think that was one of your less flattering intros, all things considered.
Well, you don't have to eat pumpkin pie. You can represent it.
All right.
Anyway. We're off to a great start already.
Anyway. Getting back into
I'm allergic to pretty much all pie because I'm allergic to egg. You see, that's the problem. Anyways.
Okay, we get it. You're allergic to pie.
Anyway, in this corner, a much more amenable corner, a man for whom Dios de los Muertos feels like Mardi Gras. It's the Bone Man himself, SandyClaws.
A much more minimal corner, huh?
No. I'm saying your corner is better than Tiki's. Minimal corner. Basically, you're more gracious.
Oh, okay.
I hope. All right.
I'm confused now.
In this corner, he may not be able to kick that football, but welcome the chair fighting champ of '73, Jacob Wile.
Hello, everybody.
The chair fighting champ of '73?
Yeah, I'm confused about that too.
What is that a reference to, Dragon? I'm very curious.
Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. It came out in
Oh God, okay.
All right.
It came out in 1973, and of course there's a chair fight in that.
Yes. And there's also other things about chairs in that, but we won't get into that tonight.
Okay, so boys, how we feeling tonight?
They're going great.
Good.
Ready for Thanksgiving?
I'm ready to eat. That's what I'm ready for.
I have to work tomorrow.
You do? Really? I'm sorry.
I work at a convenience store.
Ah, Jacob, I'm so sorry. That sucks.
It's fine.
All right, so shall we randomize?
Well, wait. Let me build to it.
Okay. I'm pumped, Dragon. I'm pumped. I'm ready to go.
Little refresher for those playing the home game, as well as the three of you knuckleheads. Let's refresh. It's been a while, so of course, folks, it's real simple. We've got 3 questions, aka 3 rounds. If one person gets all 3 points, or everybody gets 1, quote Spider-Man. If everyone gets 1, we go to the break glass in case of emergency question, which will be our tiebreaker. But importantly, before we get to a tiebreaker, we will also have, at the end of the 3 rounds, we will be instituting a new practice we're kind of testing out here and there called the coin. Now, folks, the way the coin works,
it's all very ominous. It's kept in like very, very high secure, like 10-inch thick glass.
Oh yeah, that's plexiglass.
And coin is capitalized.
Yes, of course.
So again, with the dreaded coin. Basically, after the 3 rounds, after the end of the 3rd round, each of our competitors will have the option. They don't have to. They're not going to twist their arms. They have the option of flipping this very special coin. Basically, it kind of works like the age-old two-faced coins: good side, bad side. Good side heads, that person will get a point. Bad side tails, they will lose a point. That's fate they take into their own hands on that one. Again, they don't have to do it, but they can, and of course it would maybe help decide if we need a tiebreaker or not. So that's kind of how the coin works.
Yep.
I'm so excited for the coin. I love this idea.
I can vouch for its effectiveness from last time.
Okay, let's see. Of course, folks, just the way we're going to break this down, we kind of got into a rhythm of it. We're going to kind of keep it going for, again, the spirit of Thanksgiving, I suppose. We have the opening statement. The way we'll go around, we'll share our picks. Everyone's going to, kind of share what, what their gracious picks are. And then we go around again. Everyone's going to give their opening statement. Then we're just going to big old kind of family fight out. It's going to be like a big old happy family. We're going to fight out around Thanksgiving.
Well, let's face it, we're not going to be like we're going to be like every family on Thanksgiving, and that we're going to be incredibly bitter and harsh and mean towards each other, and we're just going to take no punches, and it's all going to end in tears.
So essentially, it's a Hail on Thanksgiving.
That's exactly what we're doing. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. What are you talking
It's not
about?
Thanksgiving unless someone has a nervous
this is
breakdown.
the family game of Monopoly, all right? Like, the fucking board is going in the fire by the end of this.
It's battle for the hat. Anyway, so of course, my little co-host, my little impartial co-host. Oh, look how cute he is! It's good old R2D. Hear that sound? He speaks for the group. He speaks for me mainly, and he will say, "That's enough. I've heard it all." And of course, I'll deliberate and share who the victor is.
Does R2 also speak for the trees?
Tiki, I don't know what he does on the weekends. I would like to think so. Yes. All right, so gentlemen, do you understand these rules as I have explained them to you here this fine evening?
Yeah!
Uh-huh.
All right, now, folks, we're going to go to a randomizer. Names are in alphabetical order to ensure the results are completely random. Decide what tonight's order is of who's going to win.
All right, let's do
Fire it
it.
up!
Oh, guys, I don't think I've ever gone first. Like, at this point, I kind of want a challenge. Seriously.
It's the same order. Are you sure you hit the
I know.
All right, well, I guess
First,
that's how.
I'm usually last.
I guess that's how we're going.
Jacob, I'm
I
so
always
sorry.
go
I feel
first.
so bad.
I always go first in these things.
Dragon, I wouldn't be opposed to doing a backwards order this once.
You're suggesting that?
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Okay, well, let's get a rolling here. Okay, Sandy, how do you feel about reverse order?
I mean,
he
Sandy,
doesn't-
like, he comes second either way. So.
How do I feel?
Look, I'm going to assume Sandy's unaffected by it, but then again, he might have a strategy. He might want to kind of trip some people up. So Tiki's
like-
fate.
It's like asking a girl named Hannah how she feels about being called her name backwards.
God.
So okay, I take it Sandy's okay with it. All right, Jacob, how you
that
feeling?
wasn't one of the 13 reasons.
Mom and Dad, you gave me this bizarre name.
That was a low blow right there.
Okay, but seriously, Jacob, you okay with this?
I'm not unopposed.
All right, so okay, let's do reverse order just for again because I'm a giving guy. Let's do it in reverse.
And it is Thanksgiving, so.
Exactly.
Have you guys noticed the pattern of, like, I'm kind of like the guy who plays a video game specifically for the challenge? So it's like with these things, I like to throw myself to the wolves. Like, I like an uphill battle.
He plays on hard difficulty level. Yeah.
But you play it, but can you beat it?
Well, that's the test, Jacob. That's what we'll have to find out, right?
Okay. Are we ready, guys?
I am so ready.
Let's go.
All right. Round one. On to the main course, so to speak. Round one. In honor of Thanksgiving, what Disney film should we be most thankful for? Again, what Disney film should we be most thankful for? Emphasis on should and we. Now, again, to clarify for the folks out there and selecting our picks, which we're going to reveal who has what momentarily, they have to be Disney. They are Disney related, and basically what I want to hear from you guys is I want you to make a case for it in the opening statements. We'll go around with the opening statements after we reveal who has what, which let's just do that now. Who has what?
All right, I've got Mary Poppins.
It's Mary Poppins, y'all!
Yes, thanks for undercutting the seriousness of my pick, Dragon.
Well, no, everyone loves that. Sandy?
I've got Alice in Wonderland. I'm sorry.
And I got and I chose Toy Story.
Okay. You got Toy Story. The Pride of 95. Okay. Okay, so let's just go around again.
Mary Poppins, the Pride of 65.
Honestly, yes. I would be opposed to that. You know, it's like
Definitely should have won Best Picture for sure.
Okay, so guys, remember, opening statements. I really want you to really state your case for it in the opening statements. Like, tell me, you know, why we should be thankful, and basically, you're going to defend it in the fights. Okay, Tiki, whenever you're ready.
Mary Poppins is a movie that straight up should not exist. We all know the behind-the-scenes story of this movie. We all know the insane lengths that Walt Disney had to go through just to get the rights to it. On top of that, on top of just the insane journey that Walt went through with PL Travers, that was so compelling that it was literally turned into a movie. This movie is just absolutely incredible. It's just, I feel like this movie is pretty much like everything that Walt did in his career in terms of film, just all rolled into one special movie. It's got amazing performances from live action characters. It's got great set pieces. It's got jaw-dropping visual effects. It's got incredible songs. It's got, of course, just some of the best blends of animation and live action that we've ever seen. Mary Poppins is a journey. Mary Poppins is a straight-up experience. My father tells me stories to this day of the first time he went to go see Mary Poppins in the theater back when it first came out in '65, and him just not wanting to leave the theater, him being so transfixed with the world that this movie created that it was almost kind of like the Pandora thing with Avatar, right? Like he almost was kind of like, no, I want to go back to the rooftops of London. So Mary Poppins is just such an incredible achievement. And the reason I think we should be most thankful for this movie in particular is because it's Walt's miracle. This is the movie that Walt wanted to make. He made it exactly how he wanted it. It contains Walt Disney's favorite song of all time, and it's just a straight-up masterpiece. I mean, it's impenetrable. I'm done.
Okay, Sandy.
Alice in Wonderland is a Disney masterpiece, which goes without saying. And there are several reasons why we should be thankful for it. You know, Alice is a colorful, vibrant movie full of memorable features, but it was a movie long in the making, and even after its release, had a very, very troubled time not gaining popularity till the 60s, I believe. Or was it 70s?
60s.
60s, okay, that's what it is.
Don't help them.
So, why should we be thankful for this movie? Its story speaks for itself. You know, it was a difficult challenge, specifically before, and then after its release, Walt didn't even get to see the film's success, see the light of day, which is heartbreaking because Alice meant so much to him. The presence of Alice being in his career from the very beginning. It's such a iconic film, and with all the World War II drama that was going on within the walls of the Disney studio before. During the film's production, that almost brought it to a complete halt altogether. I think it did. Luckily, you know, that didn't finalize the film's doom before. So I think just all the different aspects of all these terrible events that happened while the film was in production and everything, just all kind of not washing away, just making room for the film to finally come and see the light of day, long last.
Okay. All right, Jacob.
Okay, my pick is as you can see, Toy Story. Now, Toy Story is an interesting case that it's clearly the most recent picture here, coming out in the mid '90s rather than the '50s and '60s. But it's a film that we should be grateful for a number of reasons. In other words, like it was the first 3D film completely animated in computers, and therefore ushered a completely new kind of animation into the forefront, proving that but it stuck true to the animation techniques of old, and proved that. Okay. What it did is like it ushered in like an era of filmmaking in general. Like, talking about an impenetrable movie. There's movies that's like, okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I had it all lined.
You can do it.
I know. Thank you. This movie brought forth a new era of filmmaking, like showing that just because something was made in a completely different way doesn't necessarily mean that it can't be bad. It's kind of like many people were unsure about this, and like it put Pixar on the map, which become a major forefront in the animation industry. It proved that Disney has a way to. It also proved that Disney itself has a way outside of its traditional films to tell great stories, even though it eventually led to some tumultuous times between the two. But at the time, it led to some great success, and it told a great story. It's a great story. It has great themes, and it's led to one of the most acclaimed and greatest trilogies ever made, including the final one, including the current final one, Toy Story 3, which is the most recent film to be nominated for Best Picture. And Toy Story is just is as timeless as any of these on here, and is definitely worthy to be thankful for. It has strong messages of friendship and acceptance, and all around a great film.
Okay, boys, you got really great picks here. Now, again, this is where it's going to get challenging. Well, you're going to really need to fight it out here. You're going to need to take some pot shots. You're going to need, try to kill people over turkey.
All right, I just want to point out a fundamental flaw in Sandy's argument that he used. Sandy, you are aware that Walt fucking hated Alice in Wonderland, right?
Yeah, but why should we be thankful for a film that Walt himself wasn't thankful for?
No, I'm saying Sandy's whole argument is that Walt, Walt was so involved with this film because of the Alice comedy. Sandy, I'm sorry, that's just simply not true. Walt Disney never wanted to make Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland basically came about because everyone was expecting Walt to make Alice in Wonderland. So really, Alice was kind of one of the least passionate films that Walt was involved in. And that's why the film kind of has a disjointed nature that it does. We should be thankful for the visuals of Alice in Wonderland. I will give you that much, Sandy. However, as a film, I feel like both Jacob and I have much more strong, kind of coherent things that really stand the test of time more than Alice does. As I said, Alice is a good work of art. You know me, I'm not gonna bash Mary Blair, even in the context of a debate. I'm just not gonna do it. The art in Alice is amazing, but the storyline is just obviously the storyline in Alice falls apart. And like I said, I think the fundamental flaw with Ezra's whole argument here is Walt hated the project. So it's I don't know.
He was pretty much hoping that it was never successful.
Exactly.
He
He
never
was
wanted
embarrassed
it.
by it.
Like I said, he didn't want it made at all.
So Sid, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm a trivia buff, so
That is something I had completely forgotten.
Yep.
Obviously here.
Research pays.
Well, yeah, but I had to choose this last second, Jacob, as you well know.
You didn't. Never.
What?
Hey, don't let them in
Never
on how the
mind.
sausage gets made.
I didn't catch that, Tiki. What'd you say?
I said, don't let them in on how the sausage gets made.
Okay.
At least the yoga hosers.
Oh God.
But yeah.
So I think, well, Tiki, you raised a very good point there. I think you just helped my argument.
Oh, did I?
Alice in Wonderland is a very the story does fall apart, but there are many other things within the movie that help carry it. Of course, the characters and the design, the art, and the dialogue and the music and everything. It kind of I don't want to say it makes the cluttered storyline invisible. But let's keep in mind that this is a movie that's supposed to take place in a world that's constantly falling apart and doesn't make sense. Now, my other point here is that we should be thankful for Alice because Walt did not want it made. But it turned
Okay,
out
you see, now I'm just going to have to stop you there, Sandy, because you're clearly just backtracking on your original argument based on what I said. You're going to say, like, oh, we should be thankful for it because Walt didn't want it made and yet it existed anyway. Sandy, no, you can't do that. Because I clearly just pointed out to you that...
Okay, then I'll just shut up then, I guess.
Don't shut up! Put up a fight!
I'm trying to put up a fight, but you're shutting me down.
Oh, God.
Tiki, let the man continue, then try to pick him apart.
Okay, I'm sorry, Sandy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're supposed to put up a fight and pick each other apart. That's the whole idea.
Yes, I know, Jacob. Thank you for pointing that out.
All right, guys, seriously, we can't let this fall apart in the first round. Sandy,
What do you got, Sandman? What do you got against him?
Okay, well, yes, I'm backtracking on what my opening statement was, but this is a debate. It's not like there's a rule that says I can't do that. And TQ, yes, exactly. I'm backtracking on that. Walt, this is a film Walt did not want made, and we should be thankful for it because it got made anyways, and it was because it was successful not in its early years, but in its later years. It managed to get its own ride, 2 rides, in fact, which is almost unheard of within the context of Disney parks.
It pretty much has its own sub area.
It really exactly. It has its own rides. It has at least one of its own fully centered themed shops, which again is
get the labyrinth at Paris.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm just talking within Disneyland itself.
Uh-huh. All right, look, I'm just going to be cocky and mean here. I dare you guys to say anything bad about Mary Poppins. I fucking dare you, because believe me, I will shoot down anything you have bad to say about Mary Poppins, all right? Just free punches.
Try and take down Toy Story 2, I dare you to.
Okay, Toy Story. The reason why I am not
Pixar film.
I'm sorry, Sandy, go ahead.
Toy Story is not a Disney film; it's a Pixar film. So therefore, I don't even think
that was okay. Hold it. This was allowed. They can't use that argument, Sandy, and they were all clear because they're all Disney affiliated. All right, so we're gonna let that one.
Okay, my problem with Toy Story is not in the film itself. Like, the film itself is great, but here's the reason why I'm not especially thankful for Toy Story. And I hate to say this because Lasseter himself knows it. This film kind of killed 2D animation.
I totally knew you were going to call that.
No, this film had a complete butterfly effect on the whole industry, Jacob. Like, it really was this film and Shrek. Like, I'll admit it was more Shrek. Like, Shrek did more damage than this film did. I'll admit that much. But it's not. I don't want to say it was damage, Jacob, but it was certainly a turning point in the industry, and a turning point that myself and a lot of other fans are still, like, I'm still grappling with the fact that we're not getting, we're not getting hand-drawn Disney films. And not only that, but Toy Story started like a big franchise, and Gigantic just got canceled. And Gigantic was like going to be like one of the few original Disney films coming out, because of course we got like Wreck-It Ralph 2, we've got a couple projects here and there, but Gigantic was going to be an original Disney film, and they canceled it. And I don't know, I just feel like because Toy Story was so successful, like I said, the film itself is great. There's a reason why the film itself holds up so well. But I'm just saying the problem with Toy Story is the butterfly effect it created with the entire animation industry.
Here's the thing, though, Tiggy. Not all 2D animation is Disney, though. That's the thing. You're completely ignoring films from other countries that still produce 2D animation.
Yeah, so basically if you want to watch anime or if you want to watch, like, My Little Pony.
No, because I said you're completely forgetting, like, films also like 2D animation on TV. Like I said, films from Japan. Like, what about all the stuff that's Toon Studios are doing, like The Secret of Kells and stuff like that? What about those films? Like, it did not kill 2D animation.
They're not theatrical.
That's exactly, and they're not. I mean,
Secret of Kells was theatrical. It got nominated for an award and everything.
We're talking about Disney films here. It completely killed the 2D animation within Disney films, which are huge. Disney films always get a lot of traction, whether they're good or bad.
And Jacob, I'm sorry,
point-
like
hold on,
the films you're listing.
Hold it.
God.
Your point wasn't the point wasn't about Disney films. Your point was 2D animation in general, and it did not kill 2D animation at all. It's still going strong. Like I said, in fact, some of the
No, it's really not.
It's not. You can ask any of the Disney.
A 2D animation is dying. I mean, they might still make 2D animated films from time to time, especially. You're right, Jacob. Especially in foreign markets, yeah, that's known to happen more. But I mean, Western 2D animation is it's done. It's dead. Like the 2D animated film we had from this year was the fucking My Little Pony movie.
And that was Canadian, I think.
Right.
But the point remains, it's not dead. So your point is completely invalid.
It's on life support, and Toy Story didn't help.
Well, what did my Mary
Like
Poppins
I said,
do?
I can't really say anything bad about Toy Story as a film, but I can say bad things about the ripple effect it had.
All Mary Poppins did was shoehorn the 2D scenes. It has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. It just basically shoehorned it into 2D scenes.
Oh, really? Yeah.
You dared me to take pot shots. There it is.
Yeah, because it's not like it's not like the fantastical voyage that the kids took with Bert and Mary Poppins was like one of the pivotal bonding experiences that the kids had with Mary Poppins and Bert that really got them on her side. It's not like that's a major part of the movie or anything. The fact that Mary Poppins kind of like introducing them into this fantastical world, that's kind of the whole point of the story. Yeah, you're right, Jacob. Just copy and paste it right out of the movie. It'd be fine.
Not to mention, that whole 2D animation segment was revolutionary, and it changed a whole lot about how people looked at animation and live action. It was like the Roger Rabbit of its day.
And like I said, without the 2D animated segment, you don't have the high fantasy of the rest of the film. Like, that 2D animated segment is really, it's kind of like a big hinge on the rest of the film, because it's like you really need to experience that fantasy to get into Mary Poppins' headspace here.
Exactly. And everyone remembers the 2D segment. Everyone. If you didn't have that, Mary Poppins herself would not seem nearly as magical.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy, you want to try taking a shot at Mary Poppins?
No, I don't, because the film it's a film that I grew up on. I love Julie Andrews and I love Dick Van Dyke, and I can never in my wildest dreams ever.
So, guys, I just want to, Mary Poppins was essentially like the height of Walt Disney's success, and it was like the last great triumph of Walt Disney's career before he died. How could you possibly view that in a negative light? How possibly, ripple effect, obviously no one's taken many shots at the actual movie, but in terms of the ripple effect of it all, Mary Poppins is the perfect place in Disney history because it is the culmination of Walt Disney's career, and it is a huge artistic success that Walt Disney actually got to live to experience. The history, Mary Poppins fits in like a glove into the Disney history books.
And my film and our films don't. As
I said, Alice in Wonderland is still trying to kind of find an audience. It's still kind of a cult movie.
All right, guys, we gotta rein it into again. Thankful, guys. We're nearing the end of this here. You got to hear why we should be most thankful for these, not just which ones.
Well, like I said, I think I just kind of laid it out. We should be thankful to Mary Poppins because, with the history of it, it's such a satisfying movie, and you really can't point to anything that it did wrong. It inspired Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and Bedknobs and Broomsticks was slightly mediocre. Gasp, shocker, how dare Mary Poppins? It's there's really nothing to criticize with Mary Poppins. It is a perfect movie in a perfect time capsule of Disney history.
All right, guys,
it's untouchable.
All right, what are you other guys? What do you got? Sandy, Jacob, what do you got?
I don't really believe that Toy Story was responsible for the butterfly effect, as you call it. I completely debunked your theory in regards to that. But I think we should be thankful for it brought us Pixar, it brought us in the end eventually brought Disney making great films again, great animated movies again. It brought us all kinds of classics. It pretty much revolutionized. It brought forth the revolution.
You keep saying Disney making, Pixar making these films. Disney just distributed them.
Well, Is that really relevant? It's still a
I'd
Disney.
say that's a moot point, Sandy.
It's a Disney film. Okay, Walt Disney Pictures presents.
Sandy, basically, if he's arguing it, it's a Disney film. Like,
I mean, again, that. So yeah, it's like, and what do you mean? What do you mean now? Disney owns Pixar, so that makes it even more irrelevant. But like I said, it brought for and led to the acquisition of them, which led to a new change of management, which got us, like I said, brought us new films again. I mean, even the more recent animated films have been seen great success, and like sure we haven't seen as many 2D animated films from Disney, but that doesn't mean we're seeing less 2D animation as a whole. It's still going strong. Like I said, other countries still produce those films like on a boatload, and like I said, all of television is mostly 2D animation, so that's not dead there either.
I've made my points. You all know how I stand. Sandy, your final thoughts?
I've made my points. I mean, they've all gotten shot down in numerous ways, but I've made my points.
There we go.
Okay.
Can I just say before we get into the judging, I feel like a total asshole for having to take down all these movies. I just want to say that right up front. Like, I'm kind of like putting down the veneer here. Like, I love all three of these movies to death, okay? Like, anyways, go ahead, Dragon.
Okay, let's start with Tiki. All right.
Yo.
Okay, well, I think Tiki definitely came out of the gate swinging in many ways. You know, he had very really hard kind of opening points against the other ones, but also he seemed to have very I'm not gonna say rehearsed, but I'm just gonna say he had all his stuff together in the with his opening statement. He really laid out the experience. He laid out the generational experience. Kind of laid out kind of all the majesty of Mary Poppins. Of course, the cockiness, which I think it could have been I think maybe a little overly confident, but at the same time, again, he didn't really seem to falter. With that, there were openings that I think. Just constructive feedback. I think there were definitely some openings that you shouldn't have there were openings that people could have taken you down with. And but again, on the whole, I think Tiki did a very fair job with Mary Poppins. I would have maybe been a little stronger on the offense, because again, you're really strong on the offense. I think you just could have made it even more of an impact, and I think just again, on the whole, very very fair, very strong. Strong opener on Tiki.
Okay.
All right. Sandy. All right, Sandy, obviously, let's just say his footing was a little off in the beginning with the first shot Tiki took against him
yeah, sorry, man. I genuinely felt bad doing that, but it's like, God damn it, as a Disney historian, I just have to.
I'm just saying, given the fact that in the past when we talked about Alice in Wonderland, we've covered this point repeatedly.
Right.
That's why it's a little embarrassing, but I'm not going to take all points off. I'm just saying that would definitely kind of hurt Sandy's pride on that one. Again, I do think Sandy had a strong opener. Sandy, I do think you had a really strong opening, though. You did, kind of laying out, the World War II drama, the color, the vibrancy of the color, how it was, Disney's masterpiece, very, again, confident in the best ways in the beginning there. And I do appreciate that you did lay out some defenses. But I really would have liked to hear more from you in laying out those defenses. Because the main thing I heard is Sandy, you made an excellent point. I just wish you could have kept doing that, because you made an excellent point about how the characters, the art, the design work, it distracts the viewer from the really cool effect of the world. Alice in Wonderland's world is constantly falling apart, and that kind of plays into the illusion that way. I love that point you made. It's like, oh boy, that's Sam. I'm kind of proud of him right there. I was a little proud of him. I was proud of my boy for a moment. I was proud of my boy, but then it just again, I needed a lot more of that. So that's where I'm at with Sandy. All right. Now, Jacob. All right, so Jacob obviously had a very strong pick. He had a very strong pick, and he stumbled in the opening. Oh, that's very apparent. He stumbled in the opening. He did, after his stumbling, he did make his points. I mean, he did get all the points you would like to make in an opening statement. So eventually, he got that. I'm not going to say the kind of the stumbling out of it's something I would advise he avoid doing going further, but that didn't necessarily hurt him. What hurt Jacob is he let Tiki get in his head. Tiki got in his head, and he distracted him with the 2D thing. And I feel with Jacob, while he did eventually, he did kind of wiggle his way out of the kind of the 2D debate. But he defended himself with the 2D thing. I think it took him a little long to get out of those holds, let's say. I mean, there were a lot of points that Jacob could have made to easily get him out of that situation. A lot of points he could have made to actually even take down Mary Poppins using those points. He could have connected a few dots. Like for example, I mean the gigantic connection has no bearing with the 3D. With kind of the 2D 3D thing. And I think
but I was making a point about like how Toy Story like became a big franchise, and so.
Well, sure. I'm just saying he may have been. He could have turned that into something. So that's a starting point. And again, I just think he got hung up on things, and I think he just kind of. I think we all kind of lost a little focus. Again, I think we all we all found it to an extent. Again, the whole.
I'm telling you, Dragon, it's the Thanksgiving of it all. We're like extra vicious this episode.
That's what I'm saying. I think we got a little bit away from what we should be most thankful for. I'm not saying again. Some of you found it more than others. I'm just going to say I think we kind of lost focus, and that I kind of hurt collectively. I hurt everyone a little. So I just want to just be aware of that with the future rounds. Okay, so here's what I'm coming down on it. I got to tell you. Very simply, because again, there was very little against it. There's very little against it. And again, I think I really was a little underwhelmed by some of the others. I just think Tiki gets the point. Honestly, Tiki gets the point. He had the strongest argument out of the gate. He took really vicious shots in the beginning that really just kind of again almost knocked Sandy out cold, like knocked him to the ground. And Jacob, I think Jacob, he had like. He's coming from the pedigree of it all here. Again, Jacob has like a really strong...
I got to admit, I was terrified to go up against Toy Story. I really was.
Honestly, again, I'm going to be a little harsh. I think Jacob kind of let me... Obviously, my head had a stake in... I was rooting for Toy Story deep down. Again, I was keeping it impartial, but I mean, I'm let down. I'm a little let down, Jacob, this round.
Aww.
Okay. So again, onward.
Thank you, sir.
Tiki.
I'm very glad Mary Poppins got that. I mean,
come on, it's fucking Mary Poppins.
Okay, so a tumultuous first round, to say the least. Okay, now we're gonna move on to round two. Again, guys, don't lose confidence. We're all.
I think that was kind of the key, just going forward, guys. Just don't be afraid when someone takes a shot. I'm just like saying that. I don't know why I'm giving you guys advice, but.
I took shots, and I wasn't afraid when someone took a shot at me. Like I refuted my point, probably to my death, but I refuted it.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right.
And I still stand by the 2D thing.
And you were right. I'm just,
Jacob, to be fair, I was literally just pulling things out of my ass because there's nothing to criticize about Toy Story. All right, that's the name of the game.
And that's the thing. You fell into that trap, Jacob. You could have again he got you fighting that battle, and you're somebody basically you didn't make even more points about why we should be thankful for Toy Story. You made the points. I'm just saying you could have made a lot more while you were focusing on that.
Yeah.
But again, guys, good.
I mean, I don't really think that Toy Story is like, oh, it's Toy Story, then the death of 2D animation. It's like, obviously not. But
again, last thing I'll say about it is just, again, the main... I think Jacob would have won the round had he just, I think, hit like a point of like, Toy Story itself was not, whether 3D was dying or not, which again I'm on the side of no, 2D is not dying, or well, again, not dead at the very least.
Oh God, you guys are just Sandy and I are just sitting here and we're realists to the industry, right, Sandy?
Yeah.
Look, my point is, I think the main thing he could have grasped onto is that no, it's like Toy Story is not single-handedly responsible for it, and that's how
exactly.
And I think had he made like kind of like hit that faster, I think it would have helped him. I think
I kind of gave him a hint. I was like, well, Shrek is kind of more responsible.
Exactly. I mean, that's the opening I was talking about with Tiki. He had an opening right there. He opened himself up to being knocked out, but Jacob didn't take. Again, that's what I'm saying. We're all you guys are getting close. You're getting better, so we're getting there. All right, round two. In honor of all this Star Wars.
I love the voice.
In honor of all this Star Wars going around.
So you like Star Wars?
Star Wars?
Yep. Especially great and powerful Mark Hamill. Great and powerful Mark Hamill stopping by Star Tours recently. Of course, Star Wars and everything.
Yes, I heard about that.
I was some kid who was watching it. Oh man, it's so cool. All right, so here's the question: which pairing of Star Wars characters would make the best buddy movie? Now, let me clarify here. So again, basically an odd couple pair that has not been. This is the specifiers that these guys have been pre-prepared for. So, which it has to be an odd couple pair, as in a pair we have not seen. So like no R2D2 and C3PO, no Chewie and Hans. Basically a pairing that really like we haven't seen. So an odd couple, if you will. Again, it's also inspired by Thor Ragnarok in terms of kind of
course.
So it's very much kind of it's tangentially connected that way. So, all right, it does not need to be a pitch. I want to emphasize that, guys. You don't need to give me a full pitch. It might help you a little. It might help again. Just might help you sell me. Again, the focus should be on selling me a ticket on the on this pairing, on this like a Hitman's Bodyguard pairing. It's basically sell me on, why I should care about these two characters being paired together. Why I should see just any movie with these two guys in the focus. On the pair. Sell me on the pair, the chemistry, the potential, stuff like that. Right. Okay, so let's share our picks here. So, Tiki.
Okay, so I'm going with Lando Calrissian and Jar Jar Binks.
Okay.
There's a method to my madness, trust me.
Sandman.
I'm going with Boba Fett and C-3PO.
Fett Man.
I'm going with BB-8 and K2SO.
Robo Hijinks, all right.
Pretty much my idea. Part of my idea.
Okay. All right. Tiki, when you're ready.
So I'm going to make this short, guys. My film is going to be it's essentially going to be an examination of culture. It's going to break boundaries with Lucasfilm. It's going to be an examination of basically two stereotypes of African American culture, one positive, one negative, coming together. So essentially, that's why I picked these two characters, because essentially Lando Calrissian is a stereotype of like the suave black man who's just so goddamn cool that he'll just like melt a fucking iceberg with, I don't know. That's he'd be hot to melt an iceberg. That's a bad analogy.
It really is a bad analogy.
But you know what I mean? Like just the cool black man who's just like so fucking cool and so on his game and so suave that it's almost like an impossible, it's almost like an impossible example of actual manliness. You know what I mean? It's impossible to actually live up to. Then on the other side of the coin, you have Jar Jar Binks, which set the African-American race back to the 30s in terms of depiction on film. Really quite embarrassing. So basically, that's one positive stereotype, one negative stereotype. And what I'm going to do in this movie is I'm going to balance them out. I'm going to kind of have them meet in the middle here. So the timeline of this is going to be post-Force Awakens and after Han Solo's death and everything. So we're dealing with a very old, very decrepit Jar Jar Binks. He's working as a court jester for the First Order, so he's basically a disgraced jester, a disgraced clown, essentially. Lando Calrissian takes pity on him. They escape the clutches of the First Order, and then they have to go race to reunite with Chewie. For some reason, I don't know. I don't have the plot worked out all the way. But essentially, guys, my whole thing is you're exploring the dynamics of, these two semi-stereotypical African-American style characters, but you're exploring it from a completely different way. I want to point out that Jar Jar Binks is essentially like he's disgraced. He's essentially like the disgraced blackface performer, essentially. Like, I don't know. Am I getting too meta with this? Probably. But that's my pitch, god damn it.
Sandy.
Wow, that was out there. That was way more out there than I even thought it would be.
That it better in your head, I take it?
Probably.
Mr. Sandman.
All right, so my pitch is a lot shorter here. Very simple, down to the point. Imagine Boba Fett. My pitch here, it's with Boba Fett and C-3PO. Two very, very very odd pairing there. Boba Fett, he's this hardcore bounty hunter. The C-3PO is this uptight droid. So imagine Boba Fett's on the hunt for some rebel scum. and has taken C-3PO hostage for information. And just imagine these two complete opposites, quote unquote, teamed up for a dramedy. Just kind of like this. I don't want to say really intense movie, but just it's a Star Wars movie. You have blasters and things like that. I can't imagine any lightsabers being seen in this, but you have all the blasters and the things of Boba Fett. Then you also have the uptight, just snootiness of C-3PO. Just those two bouncing off each other the best they can. It'd be interesting to see how those two would work in a situation together. That's my pitch.
Okay. Jacob.
Okay, my pick is definitely it's a weird one. It's a BB-8 and K2SO. No, I originally went with my first pick. I mean, I chose K2SO because even in Rogue One, he was shown to be a very very faceted character. It's like he's capable of wit, but also very good also very good drama, and also he can definitely he's basically a very well-rounded Star Wars droid in many ways. Like he's a very good character. He pretty much okay. Sorry, I keep. And BB-8 I chose BB-8 because I figured if you're going for an odd couple, I mean what would be better than this reprogrammed Empire droid and a droid fighting the Empire, basically Empire Part 2. So it's pretty much what the First Order is, Empire Part 2.
All right.
So I mean not to dig it or anything, but I'm just saying. But it does. I mean he is reprogrammed, so. I just think that, in all, these two would very well bounce off of each other. I mean, even though BB-8 can't talk, he's doesn't mean he's quiet. I mean, he has loads of personality. Even though he's not seen much, I think pairing him with K2SO is it's basically it's not exactly a Felix and Oscar type, but it's still a very odd couple that would bring him a lot of laughs, and even sometimes even have the capability of drama, action, and everything that would make a Star Wars movie a good movie.
Okay, play it out, word it out, if you will.
Okay, well, I have nitpicks about both your options, and as I'm sure you do with mine. Tiki, I just have to say that I don't think anybody, emphasis on anybody, wants to see Jar Jar Binks in a movie, especially an old and decrepit Jar Jar Binks.
Okay, that's not true. I will agree that nobody wants to see like episode 1 Jar Jar Binks in a movie. But Sandy, I think there's a good subsect of people who's really interested in seeing the whole disgraced sad clown element of an old decrepit Jar Jar. I really do think that's a fascinating story point.
So no, all right. No offense to Billy D. Williams, but I don't think anybody really wants to see two old geezers on a big space adventure. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. I mean,
so are you saying you don't want to break down racial tensions, Sandy? Are you saying you don't want to break down racial stereotypes? Or are you saying you want to just have racial stereotypes stay where they are?
That's a totally loaded question, too.
I know.
That's a total logical fallacy.
I have never seen.
You gotta let me be boisterous.
I've never seen either of these two characters as stereotypes. You mentioned that, and I thought, what is he talking about? I've never seen Jar Jar Binks.
The cool stereotype, and Jar Jar is the insulting stereotype. It's pretty.
I don't feel it's noticeable enough for people to get that and latch onto it. I just don't. And I honestly, I've met Billy D. Williams. He's a great guy. Do you think
Billy D. Williams would be interested in breaking down social?
Honestly,
do you think this project would appeal to Billy D. Williams?
No.
No, I don't think it would at all. And
To be fair, Billy Dee Williams is game for a lot of stuff. I just want to put that out there. Game for a lot of stuff.
Okay, well, I don't think he's in the physical shape to be running around the galaxy. You know, maybe back in the day, but not now.
Okay, that's why CG and body doubles exist.
Okay, well, even then, I don't think.
You know what? You could have like Billy Dee Williams. You could have like Lando could be like half droid or some shit like that, so he could be like running around like half CG.
So basically, Forrest Whitaker.
Pretty much, yeah, kind of. Except with better tech.
I was just thinking of actual Forrest Whitaker, but okay.
Even though Jar Jar is apparently an older, wiser Gungan.
He's not wiser. He's just disgraced, and he knows he fucked up.
Okay,
that's the whole thing about this Jar Jar. That's the whole thing.
People have a very
fascinating.
A large number of the Star Wars community still have a very, very, very sour taste in their mouth about Jar Jar Binks, even if he's kind of like this changed.
You see, I actually feel like the Clone Wars did a lot to, if not redeem Jar Jar, but the Clone Wars kind of like they made Jar Jar palatable in a way.
Let's just say there's a reason why George put him less in the movie, in the movies as they went forward. Because nobody wanted to see him, even in episode 2.
Jar Jar is an enigma of the Star Wars character, okay? Jar Jar is like, he's just one of those things where it's like, we don't want him to exist. None of us want Jar Jar to exist. But then why would he there?
Then why would we team him up with the one person we want to see more?
Exactly.
Because I love a comeback story. That's why. Because I love a comeback story, and I love...
I don't get me wrong. I would love to see a Lando comeback story, and that's one reason why I'm looking forward to Solo.
Lando doesn't need a comeback story. But this movie would be Jar Jar's comeback story through the eyes of Lando.
And why would Lando be interested? Why would he even be at a First Order base to rescue this sad clown thing?
Because Lando got captured. Lando got captured, and he's breaking out, much like Poe Dameron's breaking out. You know, we've seen that sort of scenario with Poe Dameron.
I can see it right now. You said need a pilot?
Then he crashes the ship and they all blow up. That's how.
Okay, can we talk about the other two? I realize I probably lost this debate. Can we just talk about the other two?
All right. Jacob, K2SO, and BB-8. I think this is probably the team up a lot of people want and are expecting. I think it's I don't think it'd make a very interesting story because these two.
I think it's a bad idea just because it'd basically be repeating R2 and 3PO. It's like that's literally the same dynamic.
Not exactly where I was going, but these two are no droids, of course. And then
I also, Sandy, I want to point out before you continue, we all agreed to not strike Jacob on the canon of it all. The fact that BB-8 exists like after K2SO died, like that's not part of our arguments. So I just want to get that out there.
It's like a miracle exception, like we're
right, exactly.
It's a what if. So
all right, I know that's not where I was going at all.
I just want to make sure
there's humanity to these characters, but these characters are not human, so they cannot bring human qualities to the film. And of course, there will be other human characters, but these would be the two main characters we're focusing on. And while there is still humanity, I don't think it'd be enough to carry, a film with the emotion you need. These two are expressionless characters. And I don't think.
Well, let me just say this, Sandy. BB-8 showed a lot more expression than Boba Fett ever did.
Okay, well, maybe.
Actually, the big argument for any Boba Fett spinoff is that Boba Fett just works better in small doses, and the more you see of Boba Fett, the less cool he is. So really, and you have C-3PO there, and C-3PO is just going to be dragging down Boba Fett's coolness even further. So. Really, C-3PO with Boba Fett, that's just not a good look for Boba Fett's cool factor, Sandy.
Well, you're one to speak. Jar Jar thinks is not a good cool factor for Lando.
No, but Jar Jar Binks is Lando's project, okay? Lando is just like, oh, jeez, look at this guy. Oh, I really feel bad for him because I'm such a nice guy and because I'm such an awesome guy. I'm going to take care of this pitiful creature, and I'm going to show him the ways, and I'm going to have him be a little cool, just like me.
Like, I altered the deal. Pray I will not alternate alter it further. He sold out to Darth Vader and just barely managed to redeem himself in episode 6. He's not exactly the
All right,
nice...
if with this, let me just defend this a little bit. With this spin-off idea I have, I want to give some humanity to Boba Fett. You know, he's not just the the robotic bounty hunter.
But that doesn't work with Boba Fett, though. That inherently doesn't work. It's proved to not work.
They tried to do that in episode 2.
As a character because he is a cool-looking toy. Repeat after me. A cool-looking toy. That is the extent of Boba Fett's appeal.
Okay, well, Jacob, the reason he didn't work in episode 2 is because he was a stupid kid, okay?
Yeah, and I'm saying they could have made Jango Fett cool as well, all right? They could have made Jango Fett cool, but they didn't. They really, really didn't.
They really didn't, and honestly, I do agree with Sandy. I mean, Jar Jar would just bring down Lando, and as I pointed out, Lando
I get it. Jar Jar would bring down Lando. All right, we don't have to talk about Lando. I get it.
I'm moving on, and Lando isn't exactly the nicest role model. I mean, he probably wouldn't go out of his way to rescue him.
All right, guys, seriously,
I don't think K2SO and BB-8 would work well off each other.
Are we seriously just going to ignore the fact that this is just basically C-3PO and R2-D2 2.0? I mean, seriously, what's up with that? It really is. It's literally just like the the smarmy, sarcastic droid, and then like the the lovable mute droid. It's literally the same dynamic.
It's a dynamic that works, though. There's a reason why
there's no creativity behind it. I'm just gonna put my hat in the ring and say, give it to Sandy, all right? Because the idea of C-3PO fucking with Boba Fett and just throwing off Boba Fett's game at every turn, honestly, that is the movie I want to watch. Okay, I'm just Sandy. Congratulations, you have my endorsement. I watched that over my weird social experiment, Jar Jar Binks movie. Okay.
Jacob, I'm still confused on what these two would actually be doing, because even though you have this buddy comedy type thing, you still need a story to go with it. And with my pitch here, I actually gave a little bit of a story. You have Boba Fett's on the hunt for some rebels, and he's taking C-3PO hostage, probably from like some big blowout explosion.
And C-3PO would just be the worst hostage ever.
Exactly, but still, C-3PO he has a lot of knowledge. He's been around for a very long time. He knows everything about the rebels. He would be the perfect candidate to be taken hostage, not only because he's completely annoying, but because of all of what I just mentioned. He's so knowledgeable. He is the worst. I feel it feels weird saying being, but I'm just gonna say being to be taken hostage. And like I said, Tiki, even though giving humanity to Boba Fett didn't work in episode 2, again, that was because they put.
I'm on your side. You don't have to argue me anymore. Okay, I'm on your side.
Guys, Jacob, you speak.
My characters are human enough as they are. I mean, even just in one characterization each, they still had more humanity than a lot of these other characters, and a lot of other characters in this series did. And the way I would see it, I mean, they have a perfectly good story lined up. They could both be on the run from the Empire. I mean, from the bad guy. Then it's basically the Fugitive meets Star Wars. Only it's like a Fugitive duo meets Star Wars. That itself has a lot of potential for both back and forth and drama, comedy, and all kinds of Star Wars-ness.
Okay, well, again,
okay.
Yeah, I wonder if I won.
Let's see.
And as a simple note, Star Wars-ness is not a word.
A Star Warsian quality.
Yes.
I was never allowed to finish making my point.
That's intentional. Okay. All right. Let's start with Tiki. Okay, Tiki. Lando. Let's go through our odd couples here. Okay. Lando and Jar Jar. Well. So, Tiki was ambitious.
Yes, I was ambitious. That's a good word for it, Dragon. I was like, well, I have an angle I could go with it. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to throw it out there and see how it goes.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at the pick. What I'm laughing at is Jacob had a hysterical line that I keep thinking of this. That's why I lost it so much. It's not you, Tiki. I swear it's Jacob's space clown. It's like the space. Did you say space clown or space party clown?
Clown, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. It's just really fun.
It sounded like a space clown thing.
Basically, Lando paired with a space clown. It's really. Anyway, okay, seriously. Okay, yeah. So, Lando Georgia, it was an ambitious pick. It was. And I think you really could have gone more places with the Tiki, but the fatal flaw I think with Tiki's is that that's all he had in the tank. All he had was the stereotypes. One's the positive, one's the negative stereotype, and Tiki again.
I was basically trying to play up to the SJW crowd. Okay, I was kind of doing a bit. In case you didn't notice.
See, what I'm saying is, I think you could have actually gone somewhere with that, but I just think
you having fun, Dragon. I knew I didn't have a good chance to actually win this one.
I mean, I don't know. Again, I think in the setting was very interesting, but again, I think we just kind of lingered. It was a very surface argument. I think that really, again, I mean, you know, I just.
So, Dragon, essentially, because you don't like my idea, you're a fucking racist.
No.
You know I'm kidding. Come on. Don't even give me that awkward silence. You know I'm kidding.
Logical fallacy.
All right. Anyway, so the point is, yeah, I think Tiki he kind of went with the gag defense, which obviously is not going to get him far.
I had the best of intentions. God damn it! I wanted to break down social boundaries.
But I tell you, Tiki, that I'm gonna warn you. I wouldn't do that again if I were you, because that was a horrible opening you had. You had a horrible opening. I'm sorry.
Horrible as in bad for the debate, or horrible as in, oh my god, this guy is like a horrible person for suggesting.
No, not a horrible person. I just think like, oh god, that was just
okay. I mean, I'm just saying, just as long as I don't look like just a complete ass clown talking about social justice shit that I really don't know anything
No, that's not it, Tiki. I'm just going to say you did borderline make us uncomfortable. At least borderline made me uncomfortable. I was like, you know what, I think, again, I want to see where he's going with this, but he's really not going anywhere with this, and this is just getting painful.
All right.
Okay, anyway, so that's where Tiki stands. Okay. So on the Sandy. So Sandy, wow, Sandy impressed this round, really did. Of course, right from the get-go, I think Sandy has definitely held close to the odd couple idea. He really did. We're taking the the premise. Sandy's premise was very strong. The whole Boba Fett takes C-3PO hostage. You got blasters. You got ships. You get kind of the snooty butler and the bounty hunter essentially. I think Sandy. There were things. Honestly, Sandy was very. Was assisted in a huge way by Tiki. I think Tiki made Sandy's argument more than he did. And I'm saying that I think Sandy.
You mean the fact that I outright gave up and say vote for Sandy?
Well, one, I'm sure he appreciates that, but secondly, that's not what I'm talking about. But it didn't hurt either.
I mean, I've got to say, like, as soon as I heard Sandy's pitch, I was like, God, that's good. Like, I can't really fight against that. That's good.
But again, look, I'm not saying as a positive. I'm saying it for Sandy. Again, Sandy, I think you had a lot of good points, but I really think you shouldn't let Tiki make your argument like that. I think, and I'm not saying you kind of stepped in for it. So I don't know how you would have, if you would have gotten there.
What I can't even remember now. What did he say?
Well, basically, he really bolstered your original point in a way that to the stratosphere, where he basically said, you kind of take this odd couple pairing of, basically the most annoying hostage ever. Basically, that's where a lot of the selling point is. Just like basically we undercut the cool factor of Boba Fett. That's the point that he made. I think really kind of bolstered and helped you basically get you where you were going faster. I got a sense you were going there, but again, I don't know that, and that bugs me. I don't know if you would have gotten there or you would have gotten there that fast. So something to be aware of. Just. Don't just scratch the surface. You got to dig deep, man. You got to dig deep. But there's good stuff there.
All right.
Also, you really could have. You got to take your shots early against the others too, because again, I think you took you a lot of pride to get you to go against BB-8 and K2S. So you did get there. I'm just saying it took you a while. All right. So speaking of which, let's get to Jacob. So Jacob really, I think Jacob put up a good fight. I think he has put up a good fight, and he's definitely improved vastly since the previous round. We'll give him that absolutely. It was a match between Sandy and Jacob, not because Tiki bombed, but just because those were just, again, looking at, they were stronger pitches. BB-8 and K2SO. That was a strong pairing. Of course, we have you made the point from the get-go. I think Jacob's opening statements are getting better in this round. So they still need to plus that up. Still need you to kind of, you have all the points there. You stumble a little bit. It took you less time to course correct than it did with Toy Story. So I think you're doing a lot better with that. Just, again, just by like a little, close the gap a little, and I think you're perfect.
I basically just have a stuttering problem.
Oh, sure. Don't we all? I mean, yeah, sure. Yes. I didn't mean to undercut the stuttering thing. It just now occurred to me. Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I definitely think you hit upon the good points you were making there. Like basically have the verbal character, very verbose character, and the silent comedian essentially in BB-8. Basically kind of our silent figure. I think, however, the thing that really hurt you, Jake, and it wasn't anything you did. It was the fact that Sandy and Tiki took really good shots at you. That really hurt you, and that Sandy is. Sandy that made the points. It's kind of like something you'd expect, and I think Tiki really hit on the head again. Tiki just kind of was kind of Sandy's ambassador a lot for this round. Right. Where Tiki made the point, basically it's C-3PO and R2 2.0, and I really would have liked to hear and why is that a bad thing? I would have liked to hear that a little bit more, and also there's a point I think
I did say it's a pair that works. I did mention that.
You did. Again, I'm not taking points away from them. I'm just saying these were just there was a strong offense, but at the same time I wanted to hear you didn't really dive deep enough into what this would be. And again, I'm not saying you need a plot or anything, but again, how these characters, I kept hearing the same point kind of recycled. Is that okay? We have, again, basically, it's the verbal and silent things that they're basically, I kept hearing they're expressive without having faces more than Boba Fett. That's really all I heard kind of recycled and then factored in the Boba Fett. So I would have liked to hear more beyond that. And honestly, what I really would have liked, I was expecting you to go in the direction of, basically do it as an indie movie or something.
I was kind of trying to pitch mine as an indie movie, but I just don't think I conveyed that very well.
Honestly, thinking about it now, all of you could have made the indie movie pitch, and honestly, it would have helped you all. You didn't need to make
that. To tell you the truth, I was this close to name dropping Wes Anderson as a director for mine.
Sandy came the closest to kind of the indie movie thing. I'm not saying I would have clinched it.
Honestly, I think Sandy just had a solid thing that feels like it could be part of Star Wars.
Yeah, it's just Sandy had kind of the dramedy thing, which is kind of close to what I was kind of expecting from Jacob and Sandy's pitch, and also again in the very early stages, Tiki's, but again mainly Sandy Jacobs. But honestly, it was if I know he wasn't going to say this exactly, basically Jay and Silent Bob, but as a drama. That's kind of what I was expecting with BB-8 and K2SO. I think that would have been. That's kind of it was something I was hoping to hear something in that vein, if he just kind of nail it down to kind of a single kind of selling. I didn't really get that single selling point from Jacob, and because of that, and again the other reasons stated for all three, Sandy gets the point.
Woo!
Okay.
But again, major improvement on.
Look at him go!
Yes, major improvement on.
It cut out right as you said. Who got it? Who was it?
Sandy, you.
Oh, awesome. Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So again, a vast improvement on all, mostly all fronts. Not again, Tiki, but
I know, right?
vast improvement.
I took a step backwards.
But again, Sandy and Jacob, you guys have course corrected from that first round. You've done a very, very good job. Let's keep it up, guys. Let's keep it up. All right.
Awesome.
Round 3. Okay, so in celebration of Pixar's first musical film, Coco.
It's so good, isn't it, Dragon?
Oh, I gotta tell you, I'm sort of well just mentioning it. Really. Bear in mind, it's really fresh in my mind right now. That's why.
Well, it sounds like lava done right.
Okay, so in celebration of Pixar's first musical, Coco, which composer, because again, musical focus, Michael Giacchino, he did the score for Coco, did an excellent job, by the way. Which composer should score a Pixar film next? Now, here's the specifiers for you guys, just to tell the audience out there what I've prepped you guys with. So, which composer who has not done a Pixar film before, someone who's not done a Pixar film before, should do a Pixar film? Whose name would you put forward? We're looking to who's someone good in the industry we haven't gone to. We want to do something different, right? Yeah, we want to do something different. Who are we going to go to? the Newmans. No, we want to do something different. Darn, I said different. You know, like Giacchino, he's too busy with all the other stuff. You know, we gotta get a new guy. So basically, what I want to hear from you guys, list some credentials in your opening.
On Giacchino.
No, I'm just saying he's doing other stuff. I'm just saying he's so good. He's so good. He's so busy. That's what I'm saying. Like, yo, we don't want to bother Michael. He always sees things. He's doing the Lord's work. That Michael Giacchino.
He's doing Lord's work.
Anyway, so I want you guys to, in the opening statements, I want you guys to list some credentials. You know, for me and the folks out there, list some credentials that kind of like, just to refresh the folks and what these guys are doing, kind of what builds up their monolithic status, if you will.
Gladly.
And main thing I want you to hit in the argument is why should I be hyped to see these names announced with whenever the next Pixar film is? Like, if I saw this name, why should I be hyped out of my mind? Like, why should I get excited purely based on this name attached to a Pixar film? I want that be in your heads. So let's go around. Who has what?
Well, I am taking Hans Zimmer.
Zimman.
Are you sure it's not Zimmerman?
Oh,
shut up, Sandy. How'd I know you? Oh, God. Oh,
I have Alan Silvestri.
I have Danny Elfman.
Sylvie and the Elfman. Okay.
Oh, boy. Okay, so guys, I mean, Hans Zimmer is just, I really feel like this guy's just on another level where people, like Silvestri and Elfman, they make music, and they make good music. I feel like Hans Zimmer pushes the whole concept of music forward in big, bold, dramatic ways with the way in which he composes. Take, for example, the Inception soundtrack, where it's literally just like the whole, like, womp, womp. And it's ridiculous, and some people make fun of it, and it is kind of like a hallmark of that movie, but goddamn if it didn't work. Take the soundtrack for Dunkirk, where literally all Hans Zimmer has to do is put a ticking clock into the fabric of the music, and suddenly you just have this incredible drive to the whole film because of the music. Hans Zimmer has done so many incredible scores. Of course, he produced the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack, which, say what you will about the later movies, but goddamn, that Jack Sparrow march, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Basically, Hans Zimmer, if he wants to do like a rollicking adventure, he can do a rollicking adventure, and he can make it one of the most amazing rollicking adventure soundtracks we've ever seen. But if he wants to go outside the lines, if he wants to go and push something into the stratosphere, if he wants to make something that's unlike any other piece of music that we've ever heard before, a good example of that is like Interstellar with the horn sections and stuff like that. If you listen to the section for 12 Years a Slave, what he does with 12 Years a Slave is he works in a violin being tuned and like strings being plucked, and that works into the fabric of the score. So what Hans Zimmer does is essentially, he's a master of working diegetic elements from the films themselves into the fabric of his scores. And frankly, I think that's exactly what Pixar needs. Pixar needs someone who can just come in and just have a bold and ambitious idea for not just music, but for a way to take the sound design of a Pixar movie to the absolute next level. Also, just the easy point I'm going to make here is that Hans Zimmer won his single Oscar for The Lion King. So, let's get him back into the other house of Disney and see how he does. All right, and that's it. I mean, Hans Zimmer is just like, goddamn, he's like the Mary Poppins of composers. You just can't say anything bad about him.
No, God, don't even go there.
I'm sorry, I do have to ask, though. Would you say he's Mary Poppins, y'all?
I would say Hans Zimmer is Mary Poppins, y'all.
No, something to consider.
Nope.
I just wouldn't say the actual movie Mary Poppins is Mary Poppins, y'all.
Okay. All right.
Because the actual movie Mary Poppins is too classy for that.
All right, Sandy. Open statement.
I chose Alan Silvestri. And why did I choose him? Alan Silvestri is a name known by many, and even if you don't know his name, you know his music. He has a long list of wonderful movie scores, such as Forrest Gump, Back to the Future Part 1, 2, and 3, as well as Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Night at the Museum, Lilo and Stitch, Stuart Little. The list goes on and on. Alan, I feel, ties the whimsy and drama of music together very carefully, very nicely, very neatly, and very finely. And could very easily create a memorable and classic Pixar score. When I think of Hans Zimmer, I think the dark and brooding and things like that. Pixar, I feel, is not
Just face it, Sandy. You think of the Womps, right? You think of the Womps.
What's a womp?
You know, the Womp.
No, I know. I think of Batman versus Superman or Man of Steel or The Dark Knight Rises or something like that. I don't feel that whole thing ties well with Pixar. I think Alan Silvestri could take a movie like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is a soundtrack I've been listening to recently, and it very well ties in some nice. I'm not going to say darker elements, but I guess shady elements, and mixes it well with humor. Or Night at the Museum has a wonderful soundtrack. Same with Stuart Little, all beautiful soundtracks that I think would go very well emotionally with what Pixar does and what they do visually as well. I think he can match the color and vibrancy with his music that Pixar does with their actual animation and visuals.
Okay. Jacob!
Okay, my pick is Danny Elfman. The thing you want in a composer is his versatility. Like someone who can compose the rollicking adventure, the soft, tender moments, and do all kinds of things with the music and to elevate the scene to a whole new level. Danny Elfman does just that. Danny Elfman has a long range of fun. Not to mention, he's like he wrote songs. He can not only that, he can also write songs, write musicals and all that. He wrote various songs he wrote the songs for Nightmare Before Christmas, which he even sang. But in everything he's done films like the first two Batman movies for Tim Burton, and he actually recently returned to do Justice League, which he's done all. He do grand sweeping orchestral scores, epic scores, even somber, nicer scores, or even all kinds of different kind of craziness. And he did Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, which and he's done a lot for animation in general, like some of like Nightmare Before Christmas. This is probably his most famous one, but he's also done quite a bit. What Elfman does, he does what Hans Zimmer does as well. He takes this scene and elevates. I'm not done yet, Tiki.
Yeah, I know, and Sandy wasn't done when he started criticizing me, so tomato.
But he does what every good composer does. He elevates the scene to the next level. He shows very, very, very extreme flexibility. He's able to go into the weird in ways that many others cannot.
Mm-hmm.
Many others. He's just a guy that'd be a perfect fit for Pixar. Pixar is a kind of company that goes for all kinds of different feelings and images all at once in a single area, and I think that Elfman would kind of fit that area perfectly.
All right.
Okay. All right, guys.
Where's the image? Where's the image gone?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and play a clip to kind of illustrate my points about Elfman. All right.
Wait, hold on. We gotta vote on that.
I honestly don't feel too comfortable with that because
Tiki, it's not fair. I know we can see what your references. No, it's not allowed in the clip here.
All right. My whole point with Elfman is that Elfman has one style and one style only, and I really don't get how Jacob can say that he's like some multi-talented person when really Elfman is kind of like the musical equivalent of of Tim Burton, where it's just like he had a cool gimmick going, but he never really has done anything to expand upon said gimmick. Yeah, he can get into the weirder parts of music in ways that other people kind of don't. Sure, but that's just that's his thing. You know what I mean? That's his calling card. And I feel like, ooh, it's a weird, quirky Elfman soundtrack. You know what I mean? I mean, fine. I won't play the actual Family Guy clip, but I will tell you guys the Family Guy joke. The Family Guy joke.
It's not necessary, Tiki.
No. I mean, he can tell us. He just can't show us. He can't pull like a clip. He can describe.
Look, I'm just saying the joke of it is that Danny Elfman is literally like a pale substitute for someone like John Williams, where John Williams brings like a majesty to his music. Danny Elfman is just like, ooh, I'm going to be all experimental and quirky, and who cares if the actual pathos of what I'm writing is, actually there. I'm just going to be weird.
You're comparing the films like he's done, like he's done Milk, Good Will Hunting, all kinds of other stuff. He did Spider-Man with Spider-Man 2, which were all grand, majestic scores.
Yeah, but it was majestic for what that was. I mean, Pixar, I don't think is ever going to make a movie like Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2. Like, I'm just browsing through Elfman's work. I mean, Tiki said it very well. He's the music equivalent of Tim Burton, Nightmare Before Christmas and, Beetlejuice and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
It's just like when you see Danny Elfman doing the score, it's like you know what you're going to expect. Like, I mean, let's take a recent example here. Let's take the example of Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange's score is good, right? Like, it's got some. What I like about Doctor Strange's score is that it works in like some weird instruments. It's got a nice kind of like harpsichord flair to it. But at the end of the day, it's not really all that standout. You know what I mean? There's nothing that's super memorable about the score beyond just like, oh yeah, it had some weird instruments in it.
Exactly. I feel
that was Giacchino though.
Oh, it was?
I thought. Oh man, yeah. I thought you were rolling with it, but
God damn it! Oh,
I'm gonna go off on something you said, which actually he did do, which was Goosebumps, which is a film that I personally like quite a bit. But the music is very, very lacking, and he did use. He used a theremin quite a bit in it, and that was probably the most standout instrument he used for that.
It's weird. Maybe the Doctor Strange soundtrack just very much felt like a Danny Elfman soundtrack. I don't know.
Well, like you were saying, though, I mean, I think you can use that same point for Goosebumps because, I mean, the score for that was very unmemorable.
You know what else you can use that same point for, even though I'm sure Sandy and Jacob have not seen the movie yet? But Dragon has. You can definitely make the same point for Justice League.
We might have to explain a little bit about it.
Literally the only memorable points in Justice League music-wise is like, hey, look, it's the Superman theme, except he's kind of like slightly distorting it. That's it. Other than that, it's just super generic. And that's why I think Elfman is just simply... I mean, that goes... honestly, I think me thinking that Elfman did the Doctor Strange score when he really didn't kind of goes to show that Elfman is kind of falling off the charts when it comes to like he's not as in demand as he used to be, and I think that's because people kind of catch on to his gimmick a little bit. Now, Jacob, of course, the guy has done some great work. All of our people have done great work. I think at this point, kind of like going over the resumes of all three of these people are kind of a moot point. You know what I mean, Sandy? Do you agree with me? I feel like all three of these people have an incredible body of work, and I don't really feel like we're going to get very far by just dissecting their bodies of work. I think what we really have to get down to the nitty-gritty here with is the actual style of these composers, and if that style fits with Pixar.
I don't think Danny Elfman's style fits with Pixar, and I don't think Hans Zimmer's style fits well with Pixar.
And I will say something about yours too, Gammy. Like it's true. He did produce the theme for Pirates of the Caribbean, but technically Klaus Badelt created the main themes for the movies.
All right. Well, I don't. Yeah. Anyway,
wow, what a shot! Tiki had nothing to say.
I mean, not that it refutes the whole point or anything. I'm just saying.
No, it really doesn't, Jacob. So thank you for just undercutting me when it doesn't even really matter in the context of what I was trying to say.
I mean, you just did that to me with a lot of the Elfman stuff, so don't give me any of that crap.
When I think of Elfman, I think of Beetlejuice. Honestly, that's what I think when I think of, and
Pee-wee's Big Adventure or something like that.
It's like you were saying, it's the same kind of weird and quirky.
Do.
You guys are just all you guys are doing is typecasting. I mean, all I'm trying to prove is that he's proven many
Just like
times over that he can
typecast Billy D. Williams, you racist animals.
Tiki, let it die.
Right.
Just die.
I have proven many times over that he's proven to be more than just the weird, quirky guy.
Can you give us an example, please, or a few examples?
Like I say, I get plenty of examples like Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2,
You do
Milk,
get plenty of examples on that.
Okay.
Big Fish, Charlotte's Web.
All right, but
Men in Black.
Those are all,
Big Fish is a Tim
Goodwill
Burton movie. Men in Black is a sci-fi movie.
Goodwill Hunting.
I'll give you Good Will Hunting. All right, that's one. That's one. Everyone gets one.
All right.
I can't really dispute Good Will Hunting. That doesn't really have a lot of quirky Elfman in it.
All right, guys, I'm hearing a lot. I'm hearing kind of the same.
Moving on to Hans Zimmer. I feel
I'm hearing too much of the same from Elfman.
Even though Hans Zimmer he does capture certain elements in his music, I feel I just feel it doesn't have enough heart to it.
My argument for Zimmer is very simple. Zimmer's music is bold. Pixar is a bold studio that should make bold creative decisions. Therefore, enlisting with a bold person like Hans Zimmer, who's going to have really interesting ideas of how to make the music blend with the movie in ways that, frankly, we've never seen before. Because that's what Hans Zimmer does, and that's why... Look, you're never going to be humming a Hans Zimmer theme, Sandy, and I think that's kind of like, I feel like the argument, no offense to Jacob, I feel like the argument kind of comes down between me and Sandy, where Sandy has the guy who it's like, you're going to get those scores that you're going to be humming, right? Like Alan Silvestri has earworms, but I feel like the reason that Hans Zimmer fits so well into Pixar is because, especially with something like Coco, with the success of Coco, like Coco basically proves that Pixar still has what it takes to do something radically different and bold and experimental and just knock it out of the park. And like I said, like Hans Zimmer, like even the Hans Zimmer movies, I don't really care for. Like, 12 Years a Slave, I don't really like. It's a fine movie. I think it's a little bit overrated, but that score by Hans Zimmer with the freaking violin and he just puts you on edge. He puts you like right in the moment. And I think it'd be interesting to see like a more, not necessarily a more adult toned Pixar movie, but I think Hans Zimmer would be better for a more adult toned Pixar movie. But then again, Zimmer did do The Lion King, which, is only one of the best animated films of all time. It's not like that doesn't have pedigree or anything. And Hans Zimmer used the Lion King score in a very bold and experimental way with the tribe sounds. You know what I mean? With the, with the chanting and everything like that. And that is exactly the kind of stuff that I want to see Hans Zimmer bring to a Pixar movie, is exactly the kind of stuff that elevated the Lion King score.
Now, let me hear more from them.
Dragon, I'm just going to say something. I think it would have been a lot better if you gave us a genre to work with. Like, all right, pick a composer for this genre. Because right now, I just keep thinking, okay, what kind of film are we talking about here? What kind of film are these guys doing? Because it really depends. I think any of these guys could do a great.
Well, that's part of that's just the challenge of the debate, Sandy. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with the question.
Well, yeah, it's the value in a name, guys. I'm looking for like in which name
like Dragon said, it's like basically if this headline came out tomorrow, we're trying to sell him on it.
This composer doing a Pixar film, but let me hear more of Silvestri.
Yeah, but if like you were saying, if the name came out tomorrow, we know what the film is going to be. I mean, it's okay. Alan Silvestri, he's done so many great things, so many memorable soundtracks. Back to the Future, like you said, he makes earworm soundtracks, and I feel Pixar is very well known for earworm soundtracks. I just personally think it'd help a lot more if we had a genre to work with.
Oh, you're doing fine. Keep going. You're doing fine.
I've been listening to Who Framed Roger Rabbit recently, and the music for that is he does this great thing with it where he does all this great Mickey Mousing with it, with all the cartoon segments and everything like that. But he also has this constant underlining tension building, even behind the soft jazz he has through the Eddie Valiant. Several Eddie Valiant scenes. There's always this constant underlining tension and just rhythm that it just keeps you racing even through the softer segments. And I feel that's very powerful. I think it could bring a lot to a Pixar film, because music plays a lot into the context of any movie. I mean, at least it should. I mean, all the good ones do. You have something like Back to the Future where it does the exact same thing. You have that tension. You have all the great big booming soundtracks, the great big booming segments and everything like that. Or I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with the Night Museum soundtrack, but my gosh, the main title for that movie is just absolutely beautiful. It has this magic to it. And I guess just depending on the genre, let's just say,
Sandy, with your genre thing, Sandy, I think part of the debate is like finding composers that would blend into multiple genres. And not to give you too much credit, Sandy, but I think you're kind of doing the work for you. Like, I think you're kind of making your points without even really realizing it. So I think you're on the right track.
You're doing fine, Sandy.
Yeah.
Well, just going back to Roger Rabbit and the numerous things he does with that soundtrack. He incorporates the Mickey Mousing and the cartoon zaniness of the animated world, along with the film noir, the trumpet solo, and all that, along with the underlining tension and the strings and all those different things. He does it all very well, and it just all blends together very nicely. And I'm repeating myself here, but
okay, here's what I need to hear. I need to hear something from Jacob here, and this might be like the last thing I need to hear from the round here. Okay, so Jacob, tell me, all right, tell me how Elfman's basically, the Elfman's his kind of the emotional element of Elfman's work would tie into Pixar better than basically Hans Zimmer's boldness or Alan Silvestri's just kind of his the iconography of Alan Silvestri, basically kind of like the big kind of like memorable themes of Alan Silvestri, the bold experimentation of Hans Zimmer. Tell me how kind of the emotional element or anything else you might want to kind of add on top of that might compete with those guys. Like anything else you really want to say on Elfman, I need to hear from you.
Okay, I'm working. He's just Alan Silvestri. I mean, I'm going to say Alan Silvestri. Sorry. Don't want to argue for someone else. I mean, like I said, Danny Elfman is like he's proven many times over that. Like that's the thing. He's proven many times over that he can do many great things. I mean, he's a very versatile composer. He's composed not only some of the most memorable film scores in history, in recent memory, but he's also garnered acclaim for several television scores. Even like his most famous television themes being that of The Simpsons, Batman the Animated Series, and Desperate Housewives, which even garnered an Emmy Award. Like proves that he's extreme. He's also. I mean, look at those two themes. Look at those three themes all together themselves. Like that just proves exactly how very versatile he is. I mean, and how good at creating iconic, lasting scores he is. I mean, the Simpsons score is still going and still famous to this very day. And Batman the Animated Series, I mean, that pretty much set the tone for the series right from the get-go. I mean, he's proven that he's very good. He's very good at what he does. I mean, and even in the film scores, he's proven sure he started out as this wacky, weird composer, as you guys point out, but and then he's proven that he's definitely grown into this more mature, more able to create these more pathos-driven scores that really set the mood for the films and even series that you're watching. And I think that would make a perfect fit for what Pixar's going for.
All right. Boy, oh boy, this is probably the toughest one of the
Yeah,
night
this
right
was
here.
brutal, man.
But again, let me first of all congratulate you guys. Again, you have 3 very solid picks, all very solid, all very. You of course have like kind of tapestries of beautiful work that they've done on
And I
various.
feel like we all had like very different, unique arguments. This was a really good debate.
Oh yeah. So again, you guys. First of all, you did an excellent job in Heroes. Again, this is like the best you've done all night for all 3 of you guys. You're all just firing all cylinders, providing very kind of diverse.
This is like the Goldilocks, like just right round.
Yes, and with that, I got to tell you, it's the hardest round for me to judge because again, you guys are providing 3 very different arguments. It's kind of a choice between approaches. As I kind of laid out with Jacob, my question to Jacob there, again, that's kind of where I'm coming at for a lot of this. But let's just break them down. So sort of Tiki. So Tiki with Hans Zimmer. So right out the gate, the thing that again, Tiki hit it most directly. I really like that. He hit it most directly that Hans Zimmer, he brings kind of that the bold experimentation. His opening statement, the very top of his opening statement had cover the thought behind music and how kind of Zimmer is really a kind of a music theorist almost. How he plays with motifs and like how music can communicate things, like how adding just a simple touch would add so much to to a film and so on and so forth. He provide really good examples and kind of the musical instruments. So again, Tiki really had a lot of his bases covered. Now there was a point made against Tiki that again on both sides I would have liked to hear kind of gotten into a little bit more. I mean it was addressed, but I think Sandy brought up that Zimmer might be too dark to tie in that well with Pixar. I would have liked to hear more of that, and of course, I kind of imagine like we get into kind of the territory of like borrowed time or the whole DreamWorks of it all. Where again, Zimmer is usually DreamWorks.
That's the thing, though, Dre. I didn't want to like go too far into like blue sky speculation on what the actual film would be.
Sure. Anyway, so but again, I basically kind of like hammering down the bold necessity of like basically, it's a bold experimentation, which is consistent with a lot of Pixar stuff. All 3 of yours was consistent with what Pixar goes for, and that's what I'm getting at. Saying is we kind of look how it'd be compatible with Pixar, and mainly like how again would sound like, oh man, that's such a perfect fit.
Dragon, would you say this is a hard decision?
It is a very difficult decision.
Notice how we're kind of clearly dodging specific wordings here, folks.
Of course. Why would it be in? Okay, so moving on to Sandy. So Sandy had you all had excellent picks. Sandy, I love all the things Sandy cited. I really did. And of course, the Highlight Night, the museum. Of course, I know Sandy would never make this reference. I'm not holding it against him or anything, but I think the perfect analogy would have been Avengers. But it's the Avengers score with the Avengers theme and everything.
Oh, you're way higher on the Avengers score than most people are. I just want to point that out.
Also, okay, fine. Avengers or Captain America, the first Avenger, all right? So,
all right.
My point is, I know Sam's not going to make those references. That's perfectly fine.
The Avengers score's fine. I don't think it's like up there with Back to the Future or anything.
Look, the theme of Avengers is iconic. It's very iconic.
Yeah, but no, it's nowhere near Back to the Future iconic. That's my point.
I'm just saying it's in a long line of iconics. Anyway,
hung up on
my point again. I'm not adding or taking any points away from it. I'm just saying, like, yeah, that's when I was thinking Al Silvestri was going to hope he was going to make it. I was like, nah, he's never a million. Anyway, the point is, he had a lot of great examples listed, and the thing that Sandy said is really kind of the earworm point that he made. I thought was perfect. He's making a perfect earworm point. Now, these are known scores, these are iconic scores, and the one they kind of match the tone of Pixar. They're also kind of malleable and kind of they're diverse enough. But again, diverse but big, cinematic, and iconic. So he really hit upon that point. But as Sandy kind of pointed out himself, he was starting to repeat himself at a certain point. I think just saying lost some confidence. But again, after Marie Sherman, again, he's doing fine. And I just feel like he was just becoming a little hyperbolic. It was a little bit like over. Basically, he was kind of treading water a little bit. But again, he was in good shape. They're all in good shape, honestly, this round. So then we have. That's where I'm coming from. I'm coming to iconography from Silvestri. So Jacob with Danny Elfman. So Jacob hit the versatility.
Oh, crap. Now we have to go with Danny Elfman. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're really you're dying for that clip.
Yes, I am.
Okay, anyway.
Because it works so well, because it's exactly my argument for Elfman in a nutshell, anyways.
Anyway, so Jacob on Danny Elfman. So he covered the versatility very well, and he defended himself. Again, Jacob, I think, was the fiercest fighter in this round. He's the fiercest fighter. He did defend his picks. Again, Tiki had a kind of a somewhat, again, it was a good shot for Jacob to kind of test himself with the whole. He's the musical Tim Burton.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is very accurate because, to my knowledge, Danny Elfman's on the score for all of Tim Burton's films, if I remember that correctly. I know
all but like one or two. He didn't do the score for Sweeney Todd because that already had a score.
All right. Well, yeah.
He also didn't do Ed Wood.
Yeah, right.
Wait. You mean he didn't do Ed Wood?
Nope.
Oh my God!
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was like James Newton Howard or something like that.
Oh, wow, that's I'm blown away by that. Anyway.
The more you know.
Because I love that movie. Right. Okay. So anyway, getting back to right. So of course, there are things I wish Jacob. Well, again, I don't think Jacob didn't really make any missteps that hurt the Elfman case. I do feel, however, I think he got. It's like almost like he was playing defense a little too much. He had solid defenses though, but I think in the time he was really kind of spending that time fighting, I would have liked to hear him again. The main thing I was really looking for is was kind of how the emotion would kind of fit like a glove on Pixar stuff. I just kind of heard that mentioned on a surface level, and I heard the orchestral point. I would have liked maybe that kind of again. I think Jake was circling a lot of this when he's bringing up Batman the Animated Series, which they again to clarify again is they're taking the '89 theme, but that's the main theme for Batman the Animated Series. The rest of it is Shirley Walker and a number of other composers. But I'm not gonna split hairs on that. My point is I think he was circling around the kind of the orchestral element that you would get with Elfman. And again, I think you could have rivaled the other two a lot more. With Sandy, you could have rivaled the whole the iconography because again, Elfman has all these iconic scores which you listed. And I think
I would wager to say Spider-Man is like more iconic than anything Silvestri's done, except maybe Back to the Future.
That's what I'm saying. Basically, I would have liked to hear.
That's the thing. Whenever I don't know if you guys noticed, but whenever Spider-Man came up, I just tried to change the subject.
Again, I think a big thing that Jacob had right out the gate was, and by the way, the opening statements were again, this is the best opening statement Jacob's had tonight too. By the way, again, Jacob vast improvement on all fronts for everyone. But Jacob also, of course, bring up the fact that Elfman sang in Nightmare Before Christmas. That same would have liked to maybe hear utilized a little bit more. Like again, if you had him for a film, you'd also might have songs, but which he sings, or at least more composed songs. It was mentioned, but again,
Jack Skellington singing in a Pixar movie.
And honestly, in Nightmare Before Christmas, that's the main example I was waiting to hear Jacob utilize. I was waiting to hear him utilize the whole, Nightmare Before Christmas was very much, in line with kind of like how, of course, it was in that experimental era.
Yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas really was very experimental in the same way that Pixar was.
That's what I'm saying. It was very much.
Comparison.
You gotta remember they were in production near the same time because from Wake and Sleep Beauties in that 90s
both
period.
Bringing kind of like out of studio talent involved.
That's what I'm saying. I would have liked to kind of hear that connection between the two, which would have made Elfman a lot more kind of fit into that. So basically, I saw a lot of missed potential with Elfman. But again, not a falter was made with. Honestly, none of you really falters. I think there was missed opportunities with Jacob. So here's where I'm going, guys. It's a tough call. It's a really
you
hard.
Flip a coin.
No. Tiki, don't jump the gun. You're gonna ruin my thing. Don't
all right. I'm sorry.
Ruin my big thing, man. Anyway.
I'm sorry. I don't need to. I'm extra
anyway
tonight.
All right, folks. Here's what I'm coming down. It's a really difficult call here. Honestly, I'm probably gonna have to. You know what? Honestly, where I'm coming down, I'm gonna go with Sandy. I'm gonna give the point to Sandy. But it's close between all three of you. I want to make that clear. All three of you made really.
That's respectable. That's very respectable.
Really tight because again, Elfman had a lot going for him, but at the same time, Hans Zimmer. I heard the boldness. Honestly, I would have liked to hear more from both. But we couldn't go on forever with it, so I kind of have to cut it off. So again, the point goes to Sandy, but again, Jacob's not out yet, folks, because we have, of course, the coin.
Oh God. Well, Dragon, if I won this round, then I wouldn't have flipped. But now that I have not won this second point, I think I will flip. So, do you want to set that up again, or
so, folks, let me just set up real quick again for contenders, and of course for the viewing audience. At this point, we've gone through the 3 rounds, and our competitors have the option. They don't have to do this. They have the option of flipping a coin. If it comes up heads, they gain a point. If it comes up tails for them, they lose a point. So that's the risk they take. And of course, if you're in Tiki's position, you can gain a point and tie with Sandy. In Jacob's case, he could be on the board, and then we'd go to a break glass case emergency question between Tiki and Jacob, and Sandy would just kind of kick back, relax. Or Sandy would just kind of, you could get 3 points. So again, it's all, again, you don't have to. It's all.
I've kind of double thought my strategy in the last 30 seconds, and really, like, if I flip it and get tails, and I'm down a point, and Jacob could get a point. But if I just don't flip, then the worst case scenario is Jacob gets a point and we go to the break glass. So I'd be stupid to flip.
Well, honestly, either way, you get a tiebreaker. If you lost, you get a tiebreaker. Well, no, I'm sorry. Assuming he gets assuming he doesn't do it,
gets a coin, yeah. So
anyway, so again, we have to go in the order though. So again, Tiki, I'm going to go each one and ask you. All right. So
I am going to go ahead and deny my coin flip.
Tiki vetoes the coin flip. All right.
Yeah.
Sandy, are you feeling lucky, punk?
The coin flip is for what now?
An extra point.
Yeah, it's you can get an extra point or you can lose a point. That's a risk you take.
So you could go up to 3 or go down to 1.
I'm gonna pass.
Gonna pass.
Okay, Sandy's gonna take the car.
So Jacob literally has nothing to lose. So Jacob, you want to go for it?
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right.
Okay, moment of truth, folks.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
Jacob
We're doing break
is on
class.
the board.
Right. Okay.
Luckily. Sorry, what's
What is
for the
heads?
break class?
Yeah, well, we're all saying something here. Okay, who said what?
Did Jacob make a point or lose a point?
Oh, he made a point. He's on the board. He's on the board. But now it's a tiebreaker between Tiki and Jacob. Saying you're on silence. Help me judge. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
Let's make this as quick as we can because we're already kind of running into time issues. So
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
and we still have the speed round, which ironically enough, the speed round usually is not the speed round, but I digress.
All right. Okay. I'll just say this. Like, how about so to save on time, I'll just forget I did the whole coin flip.
No,
thing and
no,
just move on to
Jacob, no.
I mean, trust me, I have to go to work. I have to be at work tomorrow, so I completely need to go. So
Ah, shit,
I'm
really?
completely fine with it. Yeah, I have work tomorrow. Remember?
That's right, you do.
So you raise a good point, Tiki. So Dragon, I'm sorry for wasting the time with the coin flip. Let's just move on to the speed round.
All right, Jacob, do you want to stay and help judge, or?
because we have a
I can do
special
that.
rule for you if you stay around. If you stick around.
Yeah, I'll stay around for judging.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Like I said, I'll apologize again. I'm sorry, guys.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. So okay, folks, we're entering the speed round.
Oh god, now I need to pull up the timer, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, Tiki, we're gonna need the coins still.
Oh really?
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I just a mistake. No, we don't need the coin. I'm thinking of something else. No, we're fine. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Am I gonna need to pull anything else up?
No. We just need the timer. That's all.
Okay.
Your timer, folks, of course, standard thing. 30, 15, 30. It's where 30-second opener, 15-second rebuttal, 30-second closer.
Yep.
Okay, so now here's an option you guys have in the spirit of Thanksgiving. Of course, helping each other out, helping your fellow man.
Is this the twist that you were talking about?
Yes.
Oh boy. Okay. Oh, I'm terrified.
All right, folks. So here's a little twist. It's a helpful twist, though. So basically, you guys, both Sandy and Tiki, who've made it. Of course, let's remind people what's on the board here. Sandy has 2. Tiki has 1. All right.
Yo.
Now, Tiki and Sandy they can use this once. They have a tag-in option. So if we get to a speed round question that one of them does not want to participate, and after the choices have been made, they can allow someone to fight. You can allow Jacob to fight it for them.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, can I allow the judge to fight it for
No,
me?
no. That's Jacob's special role tonight. So he will fight. He will, much like the great Saul Goodman.
You guys know I have a lot of pride, so I'm not going to use that unless I really need it. But
very much like the great Jimmy McGill or Saul Goodman. He will fight. He will fight for you.
All right, let's get cracking, Dragon. Come on.
And so you both get one just for the whole speed round entirely. So you both get just
Everyone
one.
only gets one. All right, we got
it. Okay. All right, let's start. Which Muppet should direct?
Which Muppet should direct what? Just in general?
Yeah, which one should kind of graduate from performer to director?
Oh, okay.
Director of a movie. Which one should direct?
Huh.
And Sandy, your mic's muted.
Whoever speaks
I
first
choose
goes. Okay, Sandy is going
okay.
Rolf.
I'm thinking. Like, basically, I'm weighing between like a safe choice and a not sure choice. Basically, fuck it. I'm gonna go with the odd sure choice. Floyd.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
I did not see it. I could have sworn I had my bet this hedged on you, and you just lost me a lot of imaginary money.
Who did you think I was gonna pick, Dragon?
Take a wild guess.
Gonzo?
Yeah, I could have sworn you.
Okay,
I would have bet
just
that.
because I met Dave Goals doesn't mean I'm gonna be blind.
No, Tiki. I'm just saying
for every Muppet question.
No,
right?
not that, Tiki. I'm just saying purely for the auteur thing. I thought that's what the auteur choice was going to be. Anyway.
No, I'm gonna go with Floyd.
Okay.
Okay. So Sandy, you start.
Whenever you're ready.
30 seconds.
Rolf is a very calm and collected dog. He's very mature character. You know, he knows how to keep his cool, but also keep a very steady and rhythmed pace. He knows how to handle different situations, and he knows very well how to pull things together. He knows how to play things out, no pun intended, for the better and make things right. He's very well mannered and he's very respectable. And for that reason, I think he would make a very good leader and a director of a movie.
So Rolf is basically your J.J. Abrams, right? He's the company yes man who's just going to come in, do a solid job, but isn't going to do anything that's going to blow anyone away. It's just going to be like, oh, that was good. That was decent. Floyd is the Ryan Johnson in the situation. Floyd is the guy who's taken so much fucking acid in his life that anything that comes out of that guy's head is going to be incredible. Just incredible visually. Probably shouldn't have leaned too much on the acid thing.
Yeah.
Has Ryan Johnson actually used acid? Is that like a fact or something? Like,
well, I mean, Floyd is based on a psychedelic rock band, so yeah, I would be shocked if Floyd has never indulged in acid.
No, not Floyd. I'm talking about Ryan Johnson. Has he ever used acid?
Oh no, I don't know.
All right. Okay, anyway, let's just do whatever.
I don't know about Ryan Johnson's drug.
Well, then you got me curious. All right.
Anyways.
All right, so what's next? This next 15 second, right?
15, yeah. 15 rebuttal.
All right. Rolf, I feel, is the equivalent to Steven Spielberg. He's a very calm and collected man. He knows how to handle things well, how to direct well, but he's also incredibly visually creative. You know, Rolf, I feel, his music is the equivalent of what his films could be. Very outgoing and inspiring and colorful.
Okay, so his movies are basically just going to be like, I'm doing some lounge act music because this is all I know how to do because this is literally my entire character. Lounge act music. That's the extent of Rolf's directing right there. Just lounge act music.
Did not catch a single word of that.
Basically, he said lounge act music a lot.
Okay. Can we start over or what? Don't mess with the timer.
Wait. Okay, Sandy, when you're ready.
Okay, how much time do we have?
30 seconds.
Okay. All right. So Floyd, he is, like you said, he's this crazy individual who's apparently on acid. Just because he's crazy and outgoing does not mean he would make a good film director. Okay. Rolf, however, I could imagine this guy in a vest and baseball cap, just sitting back and directing, making a lot of great choices and connecting with people and directing them in a way that they can respect him and he can respect them, rounding out to a very nice project. Like, again, I feel he's the equivalent of Steven Spielberg and creative visually and nice. Okay.
So Steven Spielberg hasn't made an iconic movie in like over a decade. I mean, Jesus Christ, Spielberg's on a dry spell. And then in terms of Floyd, you know who else dropped copious amounts of acid and it worked its way into the framework of his filmmaking? That's right, only the greatest filmmaker of all time, Stanley Kubrick. So that's what I'm hoping for. Do you want a Spielberg or do you want a Kubrick? That's the choice we're gonna have to make, Dragon.
Okay. Oh boy, I love how he phrased that. I am proud of Tiki at the end there for how he phrased.
Oh, trust me, Dragon. I had that whole Kubrick acid thing. Like I had that in my back pocket the whole time. All right, I had a strategy there.
But anyway, just the Jacob tells it. Yeah, how do you feel about it, Jacob?
That was a strategy.
Well, it was a strategy to like throw you guys off with the LSD thing, but then actually make the LSD thing into a valid point about filmmaking.
Yeah.
You know what? Dragon seemed like he liked it.
Well, no, I didn't like I'm just saying I like the whole like you gotta decide what you want here. You want a Spielberg or you want a Kubrick?
All right.
Anyway, so Jacob, how you feeling about it? I'm just gonna make the quick decision, but you tell me what you think.
I mean, I honestly feel like Tiki's argument was all over the place. Like, just basically, it's like I'm gonna say something I heard from Bob's Burgers once. I said, like, I'm literally grasping at straws, and that's what a lot of Tiki's arguments sounded like. I mean, not granted, some of Ezra's did too, but a lot of Tiki's did. Basically, it's like you went from Rian Johnson to Stanley Kubrick. Not really. I mean. And speaking of like iconic, has Rian Johnson really done an iconic film yet? I mean, Star Wars: Last Jedi will probably be his first iconic film, and don't bring the television.
Work on Breaking Bad is iconic.
Tiki's relying on acid. I'm relying on.
Hey, guys, hearing from Jacob here. And
I was saying the television stuff really doesn't matter in regards to this.
Well, it should.
But like I said,
they really should, honestly.
You had your time. Anyway. Okay, so
and the whole J.J. Abrams thing is kind of redundant too. I mean, like,
I liked my J.J. Abrams point. I thought my J.J. Abrams point was good.
What did I say?
All I'm saying is that it wasn't a good point because he's actually done a lot of films visually.
J.J. Abrams is a fucking hack. I'm not going to say that. J.J. Abrams is a corporate
everyone attack Tiki. He's insulted the patron saint of Abrams.
Fuck J.J. Abrams. Seriously, that guy can... I really dislike Abrams. He is just the biggest corporate, just like, yes, just whatever you want me to do. I'll just be up the studios. I could go on.
All right,
go on, but I won't.
Tangents here, and Tiki's gonna get a lot of angry letters. So moving on.
I don't give a shit. I hate J.J. Abrams.
Oh, come on, that's on. You hate him? That's it's not cool.
I don't hate him like personally, but I just think what he represents for filmmaking is just like we love mediocrity.
Anyway, the point goes to Sandy. Not because of the Abrams thing. That just kind of makes me, respect Tiki a bit less, just a little rice patty less.
Oh, you guys are insane if you think J.J. Abrams is a visionary director by any.
I didn't say visionary. I just said, he's, it's.
I see J.J. Abrams as a nice guy. Nothing else.
You gotta bring back Star Wars. It's nice.
And I honestly have yet to see anything from Rian Johnson that proves anything else. So
my point is,
he was the one that was chosen to bring back Star Wars. Anyone could have done that. And I don't feel he was the best choice for it either. That's just me.
Anyway, just my point. I gave it to.
Sammy, you were the one who was arguing for J.J. Abrams, so I don't know why you're getting in on this fight all of a sudden.
Getting back on point here again. Sandy gets the point because again he made he had more of a clear vision. Again, I think the Spielberg comparison was good, and Tiki just honestly Tiki was a little all over the place. He had a good Kubrick at the end though.
All right.
Okay. Next question.
To be fair, I think if I would have gone with my safe choice of Kermit, I probably could have won that one.
Probably.
It's just like Kermit's just such a safe, obvious choice. I wanted to be a little
Kermit is bad.
So he's the J.J. Abrams of this argument.
Yes, exactly. Kermit is totally the J.J. Abrams of the Muppets.
I was making fun of you if you couldn't tell.
Oh man, this Thanksgiving thing is real.
Okay. And no, Kermit is not a corporate yes man.
The whole Thanksgiving, like everyone's tearing each other apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a heated one, just to kind of continue the.
Oh
All right. Okay, now guys, when you hear this,
Technically, you said the same thing about Brad Bird once, so that kind of doesn't hold any merit.
Okay, can we? First of all, I just want to stress that we are running low on time, so let's.
I know, and this
keep
little
distractions
Abrams
to a
rant that
minimum.
you started, Tiki, is not helping.
All right.
Anyway, which live action remake? So when you hear this, you got to make a decision. When you hear the names, after I say the second name, you got to choose. All right? Can we all? Sandy, can you hear me? All right.
Yes.
Okay. So which live action remake is least necessary?
Beauty and the Beast.
I gotta say them both. What did I just say?
Sorry, I thought you said after I heard the question.
Yes, I'm not done yet.
Okay, sorry.
It's two.
Okay, give me the options. I'm sorry.
Okay. Which live action remake is least necessary? Beauty and the Beast or Cinderella?
Beauty and the Beast. I gave you 5 seconds, Sandy. I timed it out, all right? You could have taken it.
All right. So whenever you're ready, 30, 15, 30.
Sandy, are you okay with that?
I'm fine.
Okay. So, all right. Ready right now?
Whenever you start speaking.
Beauty and the Beast is straight up one of the worst movies of 2017, honestly. Beauty and the Beast it's hard to sit through. It is so pointless that I feel like it dilutes the original product, which is the biggest sin. Beauty and the Beast essentially, by trying to fill in all the plot holes of the original movie unnecessarily, just craps all over the legacy. I truly hate Beauty and the Beast, and I actually think Cinderella is better than the cartoon. So there you go. Sandman.
Well, I've never seen the live action Cinderella or the live action Beauty and the Beast, so I can't really make an accurate judgment on Cinderella here. But from what my, jeez, okay.
Again, now it's too late, so keep going.
Give him 10 more seconds.
Should I re-extend the option or just let him?
Give him 10 more seconds.
All right, we'll let him go 10 seconds.
Starting at 30. I mean, I would say extend the options. It's just we don't really have a ton of time.
All right. Okay. Well, just going forward, not this round, but again, remember the tagging option.
I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know how
Sandy, you should have just told us that before we dove into this. Like before I gave my opening statement and everything, you should have addressed that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. So what are we gonna do, Dragon? Are we gonna just like?
Okay, fine.
Just give the point to Tiki. Because honestly, I agree with every point.
Movies. Never mind.
What?
Never mind.
Okay, all right. Okay, so let's give. Okay, Tiki's got 2.
Okay, I've got 2. Sandy's got 3. 3 questions left. All right, sounds good.
All right. Okay, next question.
Hey,
I had more points
Sandy.
to bring about Beauty and the Beast being a fucking terrible movie, but
Sandy, you could have used me.
Yeah,
I've
so let's
seen
remember
both
that.
movies.
It's fine. I mean, we're running short on time, and I can afford to, have Tiki earn a point.
well, I just
Oh, he's so overconfident. Okay. All right. Okay. What?
I say keep the ball rolling here.
All right. Here's a crazy question. Which Disney princess should be upgraded with cybernetics?
You mean like a robot?
Yes, basically you cybernetic.
Snow White, totally Snow White.
Right. I think he's got Snow White.
Mulan.
Oh God.
Oh, man.
All right, interesting. Very
All right.
interesting.
Saw a sword in her left arm. Hey, shot!
Let's save it for the thing. Save it for the.
Okay, I got this.
No, this will be fun.
Let's turn this thing around, guys. So Snow White is literally the blandest Disney character ever. So like a cybernetic upgrade is like there is nowhere to go but up with that. It's like it's just writing in an improvement. It's like that would clearly be the most improved just because she is such a blank slate that you could turn her into a killing machine and it'd be fucking terrifying and awesome at the same time. My problem with Mulan is that Mulan is already a badass, and I feel like upgrading her wouldn't really do much to her character.
Okay, I'm going to turn this all around.
Oh,
Mulan, who said that the robotics had the whatever dragon said, whatever word he used, who said it had to be like armored and weaponry and stuff like that? Let's say you install a mechanical teacup into her right arm and she can sip tea all day long. That would be the polar opposite of what Tiki was suggesting. A sugar spoon in her temple. It can go.
Just real quick, you know Howard Ham would love that cybernetic.
Yes.
Keep going.
Just had to throw that in.
Sandy, need to remind you, I'm a little teapot, short and
All
stout.
right. Okay. So hold on, I need to collect my bearings on that for a second. Oh man, that was a curveball. Okay. Oh man. So you know one of the biggest complaints about Elsa, how Elsa's being used now, is that she's just like a homemaker. Even though she has all these ice powers, she literally only uses the ice powers for decor. That's what you want to do with Mulan. You want to just completely take away all of Mulan's coolness.
Can I call Jacob in on this one?
No, you gotta do it at the beginning of the thing. You gotta keep rolling with it.
Okay. So I don't feel that would take away from her coolness at all. I think that if you gave her robotic teacup in her left arm, I think that would be quite fascinating.
Come on!
Okay, so I just want to paint this picture of Mulan, the big badass soldier of China, like the hero of China, serving tea with this robotic arm, versus Snow White, who's literally a nothing. Snow White is a blank slate. There is nowhere to go but up with Snow White. Sandy, you absolutely murdered the potential to have the most badass character ever with cybernetic Mulan, but you squandered it, Sandy. You squandered it, sir. This might be one of my all-time favorite speed round questions.
So Mulan's right hand opens up, and out comes a mechanical plate. On that plate is a single solitary rice cake. And she puts that in her tea and takes a bite. She takes a nibble, and that's how her robotic head is fueled. Out of her nose comes the tea, and it's all hot and ready to sip, and she gives it to the customers at her tea parlor.
Oh,
Finished.
Oh boy, you are. Okay.
Disney's most progressive feminist character, everyone.
Jacob, would you like to weigh in, or should I just take the lead on it?
I have some things to say here.
I give Sandy the point just for creativity, but I'm not the judge, so.
Like I said, I have some things to say here. Like, definitely a point for creativity, but the whole teacup thing was good for a one-time gag, but that should have been the basis of your argument.
What Sandy should have done is he should have kind of done like the, the misdirect, where it's like in the first round he brought up the teacup, but then he kept building up how awesome the teacup is until it's like, the teacup like turns into some spinning saw blade or something. Like, he should have weaponized the teacup. I feel like that would have been a good approach.
or have somebody write and then puke or something. I don't know. That would have been better. But like you could have just like you have a cybernetic Mulan fighting Huns. I mean that's awesome as it is. You had Mulan.
Yeah.
So look, being the gadget fan I am, I got to tell you, a little let down by the teacup. A little.
I wasn't let down by it.
I'm not saying he could have, like, Tiki. You know me. I could have. I could have spun that teacup into gold with all the X and all the little. I'm just saying with the.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I was saying the technical jargon. I could make like the finest teacup on the market. I really could have. Anyway, but that's neither here nor there. Tiki, the one thing I would have liked to hear more from you is just I would have liked more specifics on what cool stuff Snow White could have done. But
like you could literally do anything with cybergenic Snow White and it'd be an upgrade. That was kind of my whole point.
I mean, yeah,
Anything.
Yes, you hit that well, but again, it would have been cool if you give her something. But honestly, it's kind of funny. You guys should have flip flopped almost. It's basically
right.
Almost because again, Snow White basically she was
I
like
turned Snow White into this badass killing machine, and Sandy turned Mulan into Snow White.
Because think about it, basically Snow White's the happy homemaker. You basically give her like cybernetic homemaking capabilities.
Oh, God.
That's what I'm saying. That's how again Mulan could have been saved. We just got more than just a teacup plate with a what was it, a wafer? With the rice cake, with the rice cake and the nose thing.
I will give Sandy credit though. I love how that is framed as his ace in the hole.
All right, so I'm gonna give the point to Tiki.
Shocker.
So it's tied. It's 3-3.
3-3, and also we have 2 more points, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyone's game.
All right. Let's see. Okay. I got some Coco fodder here. All right.
Well, be careful because Sandy hasn't seen Coco.
I don't know. I'm just not. Again, it's nothing tied to the movie. I'm just saying it's like, hey, a musical Pixar film.
Okay.
Okay. I call this one Battle of the Newmans.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
What?
Battle of the Newmans.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's not.
This is going.
No, it's not two. It's not two Wayne Knights fighting each other. No, as great as that would be. Hello, Newman.
Is it Albert?
I just want to see Wayne Knight just randomly inserted into Marvel versus Capcom.
That would be great. Anyway, back to the point. So basically,
Wayne Knight it could be Tantor versus Al.
Oh God. Anyway,
Reserve. You could have anyway. Okay, getting back on play. So basically, who's the better composer? Randy Newman. Again, after I say a second name, Randy Newman or Thomas Newman.
Randy Newman.
damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Thomas Newman.
Of course, Tiki, you might not have to.
Oh yeah, Jacob. By all means, go ahead.
Yeah, Jacob's got Thomas Newman.
Okay.
I don't know shit about Thomas Newman really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the films he's done.
Good. That's more than me, Jacob.
All right, so Sandy, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Randy Newman is an absolutely marvelous film composer. He can write songs, he can sing them, he can make the music for any movie you give him the reins to. He's done Monsters Inc. He's done Bug's Life. He's done Toy Story, all of which relatively have different approaches, different needs, music-wise. And he does an absolutely marvelous job combining different emotions and different scenes and tensions and all these different wonderful things that you need, and that ultimately make up what a Pixar film is all about.
Thomas Newman's film repertoire isn't as extensive as Randy Newman's, but it's not as extensive, but it's very also impressive. I mean, like he's done the films for Finding Nemo, WALL-E, and Finding Dory, all of which push the emotional heartstrings to the extreme. He's able to create fully fleshed out orchestral scores. He's very flexible in his and he's created some of the most beautiful scores in the history of Pixar. Some things that are very interesting.
While Thomas Newman's scores for take a film like Wall-E are interesting, they can't hold up to the emotional level of Randy Newman's soundtrack for a film like Monsters, Inc., which has an absolutely wonderful musical soundtrack and wonderful songs to go along with it, or a wonderful song to go along with it.
Crap, hold on. Sorry.
One's asleep at the wheel.
Okay. Sorry, my bad.
You just said that the emotional stuff couldn't Monsters Inc. is better than the stuff in freaking Finding Nemo and Wall-E. It's like Finding Nemo's about a father trying to find his lost son, and Wall-E's about a robot trying to find love in space. It's more so than Monsters Inc.
Oops.
Okay, Jacob, we're not talking about the story here. We're talking about the music. And the music for Monsters, Inc., I think definitely holds up above Wall-E or Finding Nemo. Okay, Monsters Inc. or even Toy Story, they have great musical scores that tag along with the emotional state of the characters and the story and where things are going. The songs for Toy Story are unforgettable and memorable. You can sing every line. Just there's this wonderful, beautiful songs to make.
Thomas Newman scores match the emotion. Like we can tell what a character is feeling without even saying a word, but just by Thomas Newman's scores. Like, and his score for part of his score for Wall-E's first day was so good. Like they replaced Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. He's that good at what he does. Like he was able to make these characters emote without just sound design and his music. Something that was very hard to do with something, especially regarding Wall-E.
Okay, I say the whole time, like I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I was like hoping that Jacob would make the Family Guy joke about Randy Newman. I'm just gonna write about what I see, and that's gonna be my song.
I was expecting Santa have to go up against that, but I was expecting Jacob to pull that. But yeah, we did not get that.
I was there, believe me. You know I would have pulled that.
Of course.
I was honestly thinking that, but I was trying to work in a good argument.
No, Jacob, I think you did a better job than I would have done.
Here's where I'm going to come down on it, guys. So I'm going to give the point based on the fact that I'm going to give it to Jacob. Jacob had a line that sold me at the end. It was close. This one was close, though.
It was. I want to say, like, yeah, I was like, this was neck and neck.
And so Jacob, on behalf of Tiki, gets the point.
Can I just say, like, I feel like Ezra kind of, he listed more of a resume, which of course Newman has more films under his belt than the other Newman does. But I feel like what Jacob really brought to this argument, and I'm not just saying this because I got the point off him, but what Jacob really brought to this argument was he brought exactly what specific flair Thomas Newman brings to it. Like, I felt like Ezra's argument was more about the credits, whereas Jacob was more about the style. Does that make sense?
What?
Well, what I got
I mentioned Toy Story and Monsters, Inc. That's like two films. What?
Well, I'll say this. There are two things one for each of you. Okay, so for Sandy, the thing I was lacking was, again, I think Sandy had a lot of all his base cover.
I'm just saying, I heard more from Jacob about the actual style of the.
I figured if you mentioned Toy Story 3, I would have been done for.
Yeah.
Well, what I was looking for from Sandy, the one thing I didn't hear from Sandy, I really would have liked to. Again, kind of mention. I would have liked to maybe mention the songs more specifically, kind of talk about why this piece of score stand out.
Well, that would have opened the door for the Family Guy comparison.
Exactly. So maybe that was a guarded move on his part.
Craig, keep in mind this is kind of like in the moment type of thing. I mean,
sure.
You can't go and listen to all this stuff before.
I know. I'm just kind of.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, like, Randy Newman is fucking amazing, right? Like, we all love Randy Newman, and the Family Guy thing is just a joke, all right?
I love both of these Newmans, Tiki. I love them both.
Like I said,
anyway,
you know what that means, right?
What?
We've reached the final question, and it is a tie.
Well,
Oh, boy.
wait, no, Tiki, you have 4, he has 3.
Oh, that's right. That's right. My bad.
Anyway, yeah, and also it's the last. Jake got the point because he brought up the fact that the music paired better with the silent characters, like kind of more of the silent moments.
I really like that point as well. Yeah.
That's what clinched it, but it was even until that point was made. So that's really what tipped it over.
But what is your argument, Sandy? Is like especially like the Toy Story 3 one. I mean, if you would have used that, I mean, that would have been great, especially the whole trash compactor scene.
All right.
Anyway, okay, so moving on. Here's just make sure we get it in there, just regardless. Here's the big money question, folks. Here's the big Thanksgiving.
So now, just to be clear, this is the last question. If Ezra wins this question, we go into a tiebreaker. If I win it, I win the round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. Here's the biggie, folks. Here's those. To make sure we get in there. It's for all that. Oh boy, it's one Tiki's gonna love.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay. You ready for it?
Sure.
Best food animation in a Disney film.
Goofy Movie, Pizza.
God damn it! God! How am I supposed to do this movie?
What do you say?
Sandy claimed the Goofy Movie Pizza.
No.
Wait. Okay, hold on. So, does this mean I could also pick something from Goofy Movie?
It is on the it's on the table. I mean, you don't have to. But
Goofy Movie Bacon and Eggs. Goofy Movie Bacon and Eggs.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I thought you were gonna go with. I thought you were gonna go with the cheese.
No, nobody likes Cheese Whiz.
Tiki, I'm surprised. I would have. I'm going to say this. I think I would have admired Tiki more if he went with the the Sleepy anything from some of the stuff from Sleepy Hollow. But.
Okay, well, yeah. To be fair, Sleepy Hollow is like kind of the backup choice here, but no, this is a Goofy Movie versus Goofy Movie debate. This is like the most goofy, the most obscure Goofy Movie debate ever, and I love it.
Say, folks, this is the goofiest question we've ever had.
Usually people debate what's the best Powerline song or what's the most emotional moment.
All right, so folks, are we ready for the goofiest question ever on Disney?
Cheese pizza versus bacon and eggs.
This is literally the most goofy question ever.
But at the same time, it feels like the most important round we've ever had, I gotta say. It feels like possibly the single most important question.
This is amazing. I love you guys. This is amazing.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Sandy, you went first.
Okay. All right. I'll go first here. Just looking at that melty cheese pizza just dripping off the crust and just like him having to like, put it back on because it's so cheesy and just melty with the pepperoni going all over the place. Just who doesn't want a slice of that? It's just this big gooey cheese pizza that's probably going to give you a heartburn. It's so incredibly appetizing. It looks so good. Just all this cheese. Bacon eggs can't hold up to that. Everyone loves cheese pizza.
I think this debate is going to kill Dragon.
This is amazing.
Okay, so I don't just have bacon and eggs. I have goddamn motherfucking smiley face bacon and eggs, all right? You don't fuck with smiley face bacon and eggs. You just don't. Sandy, I also you just gave away your whole freaking argument, Sandy. You just threw it away because you admit pizza gives you heartburn. You know what doesn't give you heartburn? A hearty, balanced fucking breakfast. And that's exactly what these bacon and eggs are. The bacon looks crisp. The eggs look delicious. You can just feel it savoring in your mouth, and you're not going to get heartburn from it.
But as you were saying with the smiley face bacon and eggs, the smiley face bacon and eggs don't put a smile on your face the way cheese pizza does. Melty cheese pizza, that puts a real smile on your face. And if you're an animated character, you don't get heartburns. You just get cheese.
You literally just brought heartburn into your argument, so I'm not even the person who pulled that in, so don't pull that on me, mister. And I think with the bacon and eggs, I just think there's more to it. You know what I mean? There's the eggs, there's the bacon, it's all garnished. It's like you have more to it. You just keep going on about the cheese.
Because the cheese is the top selling point here. I mean, you have that fatty bacon. Bacon is awful. Especially if it's at some cheapo diner. You know how nasty diner food is? I've gotten sick twice from cheap diner food, okay?
Was some of that when I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sure that diner food is not good at all. It can look appetizing, trust me, I know. But diner food is always cheap as heck. Right? Cheese pizza, you can't go wrong with cheese pizza, especially with, the kind of cheese that got on that pizza.
Sandy, off the record, I want to know, are your terrible dining experiences, are some of them from the Denny's?
Oh, well, yeah, that too.
From our SoCal trip?
Oh, yeah, that's a perfect example, actually.
Exactly.
For all these months.
All right. So, okay, I have one more 30 seconds, okay. So, like I said, Sandy just keeps going on about the cheese, and that's it. And it's like really... With the Goofy movie, the whole plate is like presented in such a way. The lighting on the bacon and the lighting on the eggs, it's just an immaculate piece. It's just an immaculately presented piece of foodware. It's like the waitress clearly went above and beyond to put that smiley face together, and it just all looks so appetizing. It all looks so good.
Oh boy, this is a tough one. Okay, so oh boy.
So, I never thought in my life I'd be debating that, but here we are.
All right, so I'm gonna need some help on this one, Jacob. It all hinges on you, buddy boy. Tell me.
Jeez, Jacob.
How you feeling? You feeling
balanced breakfast, Jacob?
Feeling breakfast, or you feeling lunch/dinner?
I don't know. I know what choice Walter Jr. would go with, and really, isn't that the only choice?
Okay, don't influence him. Don't influence the poor naive boy. Let him speak. Let him speak.
Honestly, the whole heartburn thing would have made you could easily retort it with eggs and bacon give you cholesterol.
But he didn't. He didn't point out.
Hey, the boy. Let the boy speak.
I'm sorry.
I said, Sandy, you could have easily argued that to go with that, but I mean, there isn't much animation, and regarding the animation, it's like yes, it has good presentation, but the animation, there isn't really much animation on the bacon and eggs at all. It's just basically the stationary thing. Don't they turn into a frowny face? Don't they turn into a frowny face at one point? Or am I mistaken?
They do.
Yes.
All right, so they don't turn into very happy breakfast afterwards.
But you know what? The bacon is multi-versatile. Okay, they have the forethought.
And I'm not contributing much to so Dragon. You go ahead.
Okay, oh boy, here let's break this one. There's a biggie. Let's break this one.
Yes, this is a biggie. This is like every Disney fan in the world wants to know the answer to this question.
Tiki, this is the single most important question we've ever had.
Oh man,
we have to dedicate time and resources to this.
It's the second most important question behind what is the meaning of life.
Well, I mean, come on.
Or also.
I don't know. I think this holds some precedence over what is the meaning of life.
I mean, who really cares at a certain point? What's the meaning of life?
It also, although it's not as deep as how many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon.
All right, anyway, so back to the.
I simply think this is the most important question of our lifetime or any lifetime.
Possibly, but no, we're being incredibly facetious. But seriously, I'm talking about a very important question, though. So, okay, maybe not the single most important, but it is an important question you want to dedicate time and resources to here for a moment. Okay, so let's break down the Goofy movie debacle here. So, starting with Sandy. All right. So Sandy. He did lean heavily on the cheese. He did. He did, however, he did lean heavily on the cheese, but he was open very descriptively with the cheese. But Tiki called him on instantly saying, "All you have is cheese." and of course, the heartburn point which Sandy did bring up against himself has definitely hurt him. I think it's definitely hurt him, but he did try to kind of turn the heartburn to a positive. But it's basically Sandy had a really strong offense for the breakfast. We're going to see how that helps him in this round. If his offense for the breakfast is enough to snuff here. So
I'm still just laughing that we just did this. This just feels surreal.
Moving on to Tiki now. Okay, so Tiki. So Tiki did take the balanced breakfast approach.
Yes,
he highlighted the smiley face. He highlighted the smiley bacon, the smiley face. I didn't hear. He could have brought up the side of pancakes. He could have, and I think that really would have helped clinch it. I think it would have. He just kind of highlighted all the other breakfast items. The whole meal itself. But again, it's the food animation, and I do feel Tiki. He essentially. Despite saying his claims about diner food and just taking some cheap shots at diner food, a point that Sandy made that could have crippled Tiki would be that it does not put a smile on your face when you eat the smiley face bacon. And here's the reason. Here's why we're saying it could have turned into a big point that would have instantly won it for him. Is the fact that it does not cheer Max up. But he didn't say that. Mm-hmm. If he said that, if he tied into a character thing, it would have instantly won it for him. And again, there is animation in that scene because again, there's a change in there, but we didn't really get to hear that because that's just how the round timed out. We didn't quite get a rebuttal for There was more animation, but there was animation in both. But again, Tiki didn't really get to defend that. So here's what I'm coming down on, folks. I'm coming down on it late. I would have liked to hear more animation focus on both of you, to be honest. But Sandy did cover that. But again, I just got to be honest here. What I'm hearing more of more just that it's what sounds to be the best food animation in a Disney film, aka a Goofy movie film. But I'm going to rule with Tiki by Slice of Bacon.
Okay. Oh man.
So Tiki again, very close, very close. I'm talking. Folks, we're talking best of enemies here. We're talking you were talking Vidal and Buckley here. Is that heated up?
I love how a lot of these speed round questions came down to really, really philosophical breaking points. Are you gonna go with the well-balanced breakfast or are you gonna go with the delicious snack food?
All right, so Tiki, you won it.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad because I need to get going. It's 2:00.
That's cool. No, I'm sorry, Dry. I don't mean to downplay it. I'm just I've been boisterous and cocky this whole time, but I'm not going to overplay my victory. I'm that's cool. All right.
Okay. So how we feeling pretty thankful for this Disney debate?
I am, but I also feel very gracious. You know who I feel thankful to, Dragon?
Who?
I feel thankful to all three of the people in this room because I'm on Pacific Standard Time, so it's only 11 o'clock where I am. But you guys all stayed up until 2 a.m. to do this with me, so I am very, very thankful for that.
Well, plus we got an hour after show to start.
Oh God, no. We're not
we got
yet.
We got to do the interviews, and we got to do it. So T, how you feel about that ruling? Well,
oh God.
Maybe
one day, Dragon. Maybe one day. Maybe when the views for Disney debates get into the quadruple digits, then we'll talk.
All right, let's not delude ourselves here. Okay, you were going on. Continue.
No, that's it. That's it. I just thank you guys for staying up so late. I always just in terms of us being thankful, I'm just gonna Sandy, you're awesome. I love you, man. We got to hang out with each other for a few days in October. That was awesome. I hope I didn't scare you off with my quirkiness.
Oh, no.
Great. Jacob, man, you are just the linchpin of the animation podcasts on this channel. And really, you're a big help in terms of, getting that viewership and driving those numbers, man. And Dragon, Dragon, you suck. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, don't I feel special?
Dragon, no, seriously, you should feel the most special of all because without you, there wouldn't be a channel, there wouldn't be Disney debates, there wouldn't be Tiki's Universe, there would be nothing. There would just be me awkwardly talking to a camera until maybe around the middle of 2014, and then I'd give up. That's what this channel would be without Dragon. And so, Dragon, I'm most thankful to you, all right?
All right.
So, all right. So, Dragon, any last words? What are you thankful for, Dragon?
Well, Well, it's going to be a little self-serving. I'm very, very thankful that Pixar has turned out yet another great, fantastic film such as Coco, but it's just because I'm in a real Coco vibe. But no, it's in all this less little self-serving. Again, folks, thankful for yet another installment of Disney Debates.